All right, welcome to the show. I'm your host, David Wilcock, and this is not the Divine Bacon. A lot of people were getting that confused. It's the Divine Beacon. Okay, let's try to get that clear because not everybody had it figured out. I've got to zip up my fly here too. Anyway, I am back and it is good. We have I down-resed the bandwidth today so that hopefully we won't have any of these streaming problems, which so far everything looks great. Let's try a camera angle change and make sure that everything's good. We also had Richard Whitney came in early with a $333 donation. That was incredible. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And we also had Christina Nutt come in with a $3 donation. She says she's testing the super chat. Thank you very much. Richard Whitney said, sorry I wasn't able to make last week's live show. Family matters. I did watch on a replay. Many thanks, David, for all you do. May peace, love, and light be unto you and us all. Namaste. And then we had John Carter donated $20. This current bit rate is lower than recommended. We recommend, what is he recommending here? Let's see. He wants me to open something. Open the widget. We recommend that you use a stream bit rate of 6,800. I don't know. Well, they're telling me that it's too low, but anyway, I wanted to make sure that we're okay. Kayla Lynn donated as well. She says, I followed you for a long time, David. You've never changed with your beliefs about ascension. In your first live video, you said, catch the wave. You said we wouldn't have diarrhea anymore. I was intrigued, and I'm still here watching. That is terrific. Ooh, David, you hit him with the gold shirt. Nice, says Wayne Bell. So, I don't know. I mean, how do you guys feel about the way it looks? The stream looks good to me, and we're not glitching at all. Everything looks pretty cool, so I think we're just going to leave it the way it is. They do have this big warning thing. Let's see what happens if I open the widget. Warning the stream. Okay. Stream status is good. We recommend that you use a stream bitrate of 6,800 kilobits per second. Well, we don't really need to do that. It's a little bit dark. Oh, Sunflower Life donated $444 Canadian. That's incredible. Beloved Master David, your continued service to humanity is both needed and divine. Your wisdom and heartfelt dedication to serving humanity is helping many awaken. Thank you, dear brother of light, for your service to the divine plan. Okay, well, the stream is now not saying it's excellent. It just says good. But that's okay because we're not flickering otherwise. And I guess it wishes that I had a higher bit rate, but we're not going to worry about that. Good is good enough for me. So excellent, I guess, would be the higher bit rate, but we're not going to do that. I could try that. We could try to go for a higher bit rate, but stream is doing great. You guys are fine. Everything's good. Okay. Glad I cooked up a storm last night, says Frequency 963, so tonight is just dinner, and David, no fuss, just delicious. Golden or yellow is the color of Sunday. Beverly Adams says LOVE. All is good, no stress over tech today, let it be. Ignore the glitch, we will tell you if things go wrong. You never disappoint, Wilcock, says Midnight Mark. Resilience and strength is what you display, despite an ongoing onslaught of perpetual spice agony. I have learned to be the best from you, sir. You are a true divine badass. Thank you very much. That is awesome to hear. All right, so it's not the Divine Bacon, it's the Divine Beacon. And the purpose of today's talk is to really get into a deep dive. Let's see if I can have everything working. First of all, thank you once again for spending time with me today. We're going to do a deep dive on the higher self concept, which is great. Now my stream is saying it is excellent. That's awesome. Really glad for that. I really do deeply appreciate you all. I want to thank you for being here with me. We are going to be doing a deep dive on the concept of the higher self. And honestly, I'd rather take a lower bandwidth than have any of those problems like we had last time, even though I think that it was just because I had a window open inside my laptop, and that was also causing some trouble. Leanne Boudreau, 777, just donated. That sounds great. Appreciate you. Diana Silvera Olson donated $20. Thank you very much. Vacapalo, looking good on my end. Greetings from the USA. All right. So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty much the same to me. It might be that we can do a little bit higher resolution, but if we can't get it to go through, it's no good. So Lexi Abbey says, I'm only having buffering. Sorry, you're the only one so far saying that. Oh, good. Jeffrey Reynolds says he's only 3 minutes late. Christina Nutt says, hey, David, just saying happy Thanksgiving. She donated. Thank you very much. FLA Patriot, thank you, David, for going live today. All right. So, Nanasani said, can we do a Stavati update? Yes, we're closing in very quickly on some great stuff. Not able to talk about it too much, but it is happening. So we are, there's several deals in orbit right now, and we're very excited about that. So everything is looking good. Just don't get caught up in all the minutia. But we're doing really well. Mercury literally just stationed retrograde minutes ago. Keep it the way it is. That's a good point. We don't want to mess with the Mercury retrograde. Honestly, I don't see it looking a whole lot different than it did last time. Maybe it's a little bit less resolution, but that's okay. David, you enabled me to change my life by shifting my thinking, says Lisa Gofrani. You are a true godsend, and I will be forever grateful. Much love, light, and blessings for you today and always. Doreen Clark, hi, David. You're looking very cool and healthy. Love your shows. Much love, light, and gratitude always. His hair is great. At least he still has some, says Ryan Mathis. Okay. We're here today to talk about do a deep dive on the higher self. And what is the higher self? The higher self, of course, is this concept that you are more than your physical body, that there's a part of you that is guiding your life from the beyond, through dreams, through synchronicity, through various means. You are being guided by this other aspect of your being. And that's a very, very cool thing to have. Bonnie Demlong just donated $20. Thank you very much. Ultra high density is not necessary for your live stream, says Grant Armstrong. Namaste from India, says Mira Patel. Thank you guys all so much for being here. So yes, we want to keep ourselves focused on how this higher self concept can really change your life and bring you into a greater sense of peace and tranquility and bring you up to a higher standard. We don't want to be living in this false reality where we're alone in the universe and we feel abandoned. And so to embrace the fact that you do have a higher self, to embrace that reality is to step into a higher level of wisdom and grace and beauty. And that's something that's good for all of us. So we want to be able to do that. I'm deliberately doing a lot of camera changes just to make sure that everything can handle it. And you know what? It looks great. There's no difficulty with the stream at all. 7 Geometric Thought Form says this is a great topic. And I think he gave me this. So thank you, 7 Geometric, for the wonderful shirt. He gave me the jacket. So yes, the higher self is this guiding light, this beacon, the divine beacon that carries you through life and brings you to your own sense of self-attainment, which is very important. And hit the thumbs up for David, risking his life to share this information for decades. He deserves it, says Vibe High. Sunflower Life, beautiful. Somebody just thanked you for that donation. So the higher self really does have a lot to do with your cognition. There's different levels of cognition. There's different levels of the soul and how the soul actually interfaces with the mind. Many of us are not aware that we have a higher self. We're not aware of this divine beacon that carries us through life. But I'm here to tell you today that it's absolutely real and that there is no question that you can have a greater ability to see this divine beacon. It can lead you through many, many things that are really wonderful. I love this topic for today's focus, says Suzanne Ariel Luna. Let's do more of these spiritual focuses. I agree, everyone. David is so deserving. Thank you. I really hope that's true. Beverly Adams just donated. You have kept me sane for decades. You continue to do so. Thank you so much. All right. So the higher self is your own key to higher consciousness. And without having that access in place, you're going to miss out on a lot of things. Many of us are crashing through our lives without really being aware of the greater purpose that we all share, the greater purpose that life has for us, what we can do when we're beyond our own sense of limitation. How do we move beyond that sense of limitation? How do we get to a point where we can feel good about our lives and good about ourselves? Because you deserve happiness. You deserve love. You deserve to have all of the riches of the universe laid out in front of you. And that is such a great thing. We also have some new donations come in. Periwinkle Pixie, $5. Thank you very much. Trudy Handelman, $20. Thank you very much. Vaca Palo says, get a Ricola. No, I'm fine. Maybe a little sip of water. I'm not really too worried about the drama in life. You know, we focus on how to make things right, not how to keep things wrong. And so we just keep on moving forward regardless of what it is. What is your opinion on guardian angels? Well, guardian angels are part of that whole pantheon of the higher self. Your higher self, according to the Law of One series, which is my source text, is a part of you that is in the sixth density or the sixth dimensional level. That's far in the future. And it actually is traveling backwards in time to come back and help you in your life now. And so that's really a good thing. Kiki says, notice how eloquently David speaks. He never ever uses the and filler words. And I just said right before I saw that. Please everyone pray for Stephen. He is having brain surgery. Pray for your enemy. I didn't know that. Is that really true? Wow. Yeah, we do pray for him even though he's been an antagonist. That's really sad. I hope, if you're telling me the truth, that's really sad. So we hope that he gets through it just fine. Phil K says, will we have a 2012 moment when 3i Atlas comes closer, or will Mars activate like Michael Sala's guest is saying? Exciting. I don't know. You know, the 3i Atlas is a very interesting thing. It continues to display anomalous behaviors, and it's being talked about in the media so much that I really do believe they intend to run with this story. Jason Christie just donated. Love you, David. My band released our first album, In Bloom. It would mean the world to me if you listened to it. Sierra Peaks. Okay, cool. Thank you. Didn't the 3i Atlas break apart, somebody said. It's true he had a brain bleed, says Space Force. Wow, I did not know that. You look like you've lost a lot of weight. You look great always. What can you tell us about the monad? The monad is the concept of this one infinite creator, the concept sort of like the amplituhedron, the idea that the universe started from a single seed. And that is a very important point. We talked last week about Dr. Nima Arkani Hamed and his work, and how this whole issue of the universe being created from a single geometric form, it's a very fascinating concept that can take us quite a long way, because it would mean that all of space and time is the emanation of a single geometric form. And therefore, our lives in the third dimensional reality right now are just but a passing part of a much greater continuum of your soul's evolution. That divine beacon that the show is talking about today is that guiding light from the higher realms that calls you forward through the dimensions, calls you into your higher concept, calls you into a new definition of what it means to be yourself and how you can redefine everything about yourself in light of this new information that comes in. So we don't want to be shying away from that. We want to embrace our higher self, embrace this higher concept, and really learn how to love that part of ourselves. Lucas Mazzerio asks, do you think the higher soul, the oversoul and the higher self are one? Yeah, I think those are different types of terms for the same thing. Richard Powell says, I've heard each of us have multiple higher selves and then a highest self that is the most godlike version. What are your thoughts? Well, in the Law of One system, they say that you have a multidimensional identity. You have, fourth density body, fifth density body, sixth density body, and your sixth density body would be the higher self. Judy Booth says, blessings from one old soul to one of the oldest, according to Casey. Thank you very much. And then, yeah, we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. We do have a couple slides from Shadow today as well. If you ever have problems with the feed, shut your device off for 5 minutes, totally off. I had to hunt really hard for your show today. David says, Vortex. It's been really difficult for me to find the show. You got to, again, when you go on my page, click on the live link, and that will take you right to it. and that's what we really want everybody to do. So CI Atlas is here to help transition the world to 5D along with the chosen one, says Radio Morningstar. I'm not sure if that's what it is. It could actually be some type of, staged attack, but we try to stay positive. We don't want to focus on the negative too much. Anyway, your divine beacon is a very important concept. It's what we're here to talk about today. And it's when you think about the fact that the soul is eternal, that the universe is alive and conscious and intelligent, really adds up a lot of different pieces together that are quite remarkable. So life is definitely very painful for us right now, and we gotta keep that in mind, that there's so much going on right now. It's very, very difficult. The shutdown continues, and we're now up to the point where 36% of all U.S. adults are saying that they're being affected somewhat or a great deal by the shutdown, 48% Democrats and 25% Republicans. And also, maybe this thing is going to come to an end because airports are getting ready to close, and this is right before Thanksgiving travel. So hopefully we're going to get some kind of an end to this, and hopefully there will be an amicable compromise that everybody can agree on and everybody can work out with each other so that we don't have to keep on fighting. Subscribe to David's channel. Click notify for updates and lives. Cameron Clapp says, yes, I got notification for the live. Suresh Bahadur Singh says, the higher self is the Atman. Judy Johnson says, thank you for 20 plus years of wisdom, David. You keep my spirits up through some tough times for us and our family. We nearly died a month ago from carbon monoxide poisoning. Wow. Friends and love help keep us on. Well, I'm really glad you didn't die from carbon monoxide poisoning. Wow. It's not density, it's dimension. Sorry. Well, again, in the law of one, they talk about them as densities. That's what we're going with here. Linda Kiesling says, yes, I've lost my snap for November and December. I'm really sorry to hear that. The comet is continuing to surprise us as predicted, says Toto Payne Diaz. So that divine beacon, not divine bacon, carries us through all of these difficulties that we're facing, brings us into that higher concept of what it really means to be alive, and we can embrace ourselves. You can learn to take stock in all the things that you have that are so glorious and beautiful. You are a beautiful person. You've been given gifts, and those gifts will emanate from your higher self. They will emanate through you. They will give you more and more blessings. The more that you can learn to awaken and open to who you really are and what you really intend to do with yourself, the higher self is your guide. I do believe it is a part of yourself that knows the future and has a guideline for you of where your life is supposed to go, what you're supposed to be doing with yourself. And there was going to be a time in history where we would all kind of lose track of that, and we would all get fallen off on our path. And so this whole situation with the prophecies and everything that's going on right now is very keyed into the present moment. We are all going through this together, and the times that we're in right now were predicted in fact, many different ancient prophecies that all talked about exactly what we're going through now. All the difficulties, all the pains, that's nothing new. So let's talk about one of those ancient prophecies real quick that I really love. This is an ancient Egyptian prophecy that really describes our current events. And so here it is. This is Asclepius' Lament. And this is an Egyptian text from the Hermetic texts. The dating of the text from a book in 1906 called Thrice Greatest Hermes says it is impossible to base upon it any certain conclusions as to the date of the original, or its precise worth in the history of religion. That, however, our Latin translation is an ancient one, is provided by St. Augustine's verbal quotations from it. So yes, all the way back when you're in the time of St. Augustine, they were already quoting from the Hermetic texts. And so that's pretty exciting. Asclepius' prophecy, that's right. I saw some Vartica fire last Sunday, says Patricia Furlong. If we don't stand for something, we kneel for everything, says Excitable One. I don't want to say that one here, but somebody else said something else. So life is good. And we can do whatever we need to do to keep everything moving forward. That's important, that we all share in our consciousness together. And, some of you guys have some pretty scary things here. Cameron Clapp, divine bacon, ham, bacon, cigarettes, and fireworks. Yeah! That's right. Let's pray to Jesus. Absolutely. So when you're able to tune in to this part of yourself, you start to awaken more and more. And this ancient prophecy describes how we're not all going to be there. Some of us are going to lose track of that higher self, lose track of that higher consciousness. And we don't want to stay there. We don't want to be down in the dirt. We want to be getting ourselves up out of the mud. We want to elevate our consciousness. We want to redefine who we are and what we're doing here. And the best way to do that, again, is through meditation, many other processes we're going to be talking about. But let's get back into Asclepius' Lament. This is a really cool thing. And our Latin translation of it is ancient. So it was quoted by St. Augustine. It was thus in existence by at least 400 AD. Tradition has assigned to it a far higher antiquity. Now, Graham Hancock, a dear friend, colleague, combined two different modern translations from Copenhagen and Scott, and this was something that I used in my book with his permission. This was from his book, Fingerprints of the Gods. It's in there. This is like, again, his magnum opus, the really great work that launched everything. And so here it is. There will come a time when it will have been in vain that Egyptians have honored the Godhead with heartfelt piety and service. The gods will return from earth to heaven. Wow. O Egypt, Egypt, of thy religion nothing will remain but an empty tale. Only the stones will tell of thy piety. So again, the idea is that we're actually having these beings return. So Asclepius' Lament factors in pretty nicely with the idea of Thriatlas. I mean, we don't know what it is yet, but this is the time where we're seeing UFOs and we're seeing possibly, in the ancient times, these beings apparently connected with us, very much so. Mega JC Princess said she never had any problems last week. I love you, David. Everything is fine. Yeah, we're doing really good. We down-res the bandwidth a little bit. It's not quite as nice of a stream health as it would be, but still we're at 720p, which is as good as broadcast television, so I don't really think we needed to be up at 1080 anyway. How is life good when we are being lied to constantly? Well, you got to focus in on what you can change, focus in on what things are good for you and how you can make your life better. So this prophecy really helps us because, again, nothing will remain of the original positive. I believe that the original Egyptian religion was positive. It might have gotten destroyed by the negative. Law of One talks about that, but it was positive originally. Only the stones will tell of thy piety. That's talking about the pyramids and how they, remind us of something that was going on before. Your light is beautiful. Thank you for all you do. God bless you. Christ is King, says Valeria Negrito. So everything is good, and we're so happy to be here today. Let's keep going with the slide. And in that day, men and women will be weary of life. This is the day we're in now. And they will cease to think the universe worthy of reverent wonder and worship. And so religion, the greatest of all blessings, will be threatened with destruction. Men will think that it is a burden and will come to scorn it. We don't really want to be there. As for the soul, religion can be problematic too. People say, my God is better than your God. We want to try to figure out ways to get along. But yes, spirituality, spiritual teaching is very important to hold us together. Beverly Adams donated $10 and says, the Native Americans knew they were put into cages called reservations. This upgrade will free them too. Absolutely. I don't know if I'd call it a cage per se. Some people are happy there. But yes, it certainly is not the most fun thing to be stuck on a reservation. And I know a lot about that. So anyway, thank you, Beverly. That's great. This is an inspiring time. The trials in the golden age is over and coming again. The golden age is, I don't know why you'd say the golden age is over. Anyway, we have a couple others here. Jesus loves you, says, before Christ came, the most blessed Mary won our affection of the Father, becoming Queen of Heaven. This world was crazy. We're doing a lot better. We can still do better. I agree. Jesus definitely reset the whole game for us in a very positive way. David, do you still journal major dreams? I do still get dreams. I've had a lot of insomnia lately, and, so we're working on it. Hello, David. Although men say that food, clothing, and housing are important for their livelihood, all of these come from God. Ponder deeply. Says A. Wright. A. Asadeh. Blessings true to you always. Yep, so we're looking good, and everybody's got a good stream here where the divine bacon, it is on. The feed is glitching, says Sunny Skies. My dad is having a problem from another state. He got a little mad that you said gods are coming, not Jesus. Well, this is an Egyptian prophecy. I like to be cross-collateralizing different religions, but yes, Jesus is returning. I believe that's a very important part of what's going on here. And there are also angelic beings that I think are outside of time and space and that have visited various cultures throughout time. So I think we can all just get along with that. Somebody said stop reading the comments and just talk to us. It's not a bad idea. As for the soul and the belief that the soul is immortal by nature, or may hope to attain immortality, as I have taught you, all this they will mock and even persuade themselves that it is false. Don't we see that going on right now? The gods will depart from mankind, a grievous thing. This is, again, the withdrawal of all the angelic beings. Because we don't get to see them in person anymore, but soon everybody's going to be coming back. Only evil angels will remain, who will mingle with men and drive the poor wretches into all manner of reckless crime, into wars, robberies, and frauds, and all things hostile to the nature of the soul. Then will the earth tremble and the sea bear no ships. Hopefully this isn't what really happens. Heaven will not support the stars in their orbits. All the voices of the gods will be forced into silence. The fruits of the earth will rot. Again, this is the catastrophic earth change prophecy, which I don't really think is going to happen, but it's good to read this anyway. So, anyway, the soil will turn barren, and the very air will sicken with sullen stagnation. All things will be disordered and awry. All good will disappear. Well, it's not quite that bad, thank God. But this was, again, the most catastrophic timeline that we would have been on. This is what that prophecy was seeing. And we're on a better timeline. So it isn't quite this bad, but it definitely shows you when all this has befallen Asclepius, he says, then God, the creator of all things, will call back to the right path those who have gone astray. He will cleanse the world of evil, washing it away with floods, burning it out with the fiercest fire, and expelling it with war and pestilence. And a lot of that is already happening. Justine Joy says, I don't know why David isn't investigating 3i Atlas, which is clearly a mothership. His disclosure dream come true. Yes, we are. We're just not going to do it every single week. And it's an ongoing story, so I will definitely be going back in there. And we'll talk about it as much as we can. We're definitely all working on the same goal here, and the goal is, again, we do want to have disclosure, we do want to have ascension. And so this is one of those interesting sort of, there is some, fear and doom in this prophecy that I don't really think is going to happen. But the point is that there is an awe-inspiring restoration of nature. The creator of all things will call back to the right path those who have gone astray. And we are definitely going through a cleansing right now. We do have floods. We had the hurricane. We've had fires. Look at the Palisades. And war and pestilence. Pestilence, of course, is disease. And we had, in the year 2020, of course, we had COVID. So, this prophecy really does line up with what's already been happening. And we want to try to stay as positive as possible. We don't want to get stuck in the negative. We don't want to get dragged down into the dirt. We want to be able to maintain our positive focus as much as we can. And this is all good. So Chris G says 3i Atlas is very important for our evolution. Well, we don't really know what it is yet. But again, there's been a lot of speculation that when the negative side is down and out, that there could be the sort of get out of jail free card where they try to give us the blue beam type of thing at the last minute, scare everybody. That's kind of where, again, that's where my focus tends to be. Wow, PC user, please pray for me. My husband has cancer. We absolutely pray for you, PC user. Very sorry to hear that. Over 3,000 are watching right now. Wow, that's great, yeah. Got 3,136 concurrent viewers, and that is awesome. What does Archangel Michael say about Three-Eye Atlas? Well, we talked about that in some previous shows. Michael talked about contingencies with women, that if it does attack our planet, that basically benevolent, Christ-like angelic beings will defend us against that. If there is going to be some type of thing, there's a lot of fear being pumped up in the media about it. That's what concerns me the most, is the amount of fear-mongering that we're seeing, and how that fear-mongering, doesn't leave you in a state of grace. It leaves you in a state of confusion and bewilderment. And, that's not how you're going to live your highest and best life. Your best life is lived when you're following that divine beacon, when you're following that higher self that's within you. And, well, yes, 2025 was cited in my readings as a very important year. I wanted to believe that all of the stuff that we were going to see would happen then. I was maybe jumping the gun a little bit, but definitely, if you look at what's going on this year, the negative is being exposed like never before, and lots of changes are afoot, and I think it's a very much a prophetic focal point that if you look at it from far away, you say, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and it's all very spring-loaded, and I think we're going to see a lot more that we haven't seen yet. Another reminder to hit the like button and the notification bell. Thank you. Anyway, fear is the dream killer, says Jay Money. Life is good. We're hanging in there tough. We're hanging in there strong, and everything is positive. So, again, these prophecies are all coming out in the open right now, expelling the evil with war and pestilence, and thus God, the Creator, whatever you want to call it, the second coming, will bring back to his world its former aspect, so that the cosmos will once more be deemed worthy of worship and wondering reverence. Such is the new birth of the cosmos. It is a making again of all things good, a holy and awe-inspiring restoration of all nature. And that is also correlated with the concept of frashokareti in the Zoroastrian tradition, which means making wonderful. So the Zoroastrians were really onto something here. Frashokareti is a term that is used to describe this end of the cycle, the end of the yuga, as the Hindus called it. And making the world wonderful, that's not a bad thing at all. We want that. So Frashokareti is another name for this. He calls it an awe-inspiring restoration of all nature in the Asclepius Lament prophecy. And so that's good. We definitely can feel that divine beacon coming in from ancient prophecies. We know that it's there. And somebody just wrote in and said, wow, we have 3,200 people watching in 31 minutes. You're looking sharp, David. The new period of Mercury retrograde comes to an end on November 29th. There will be a grand trine of the planets. I've been dreaming about a young baby, Chris G says, symbolic of the new Earth. Looking forward to the Satya Yuga. I'm trying to concentrate on what you say, but it's complicated in English, but I'm forcing myself, says Fanny. Sorry if it's a little bit hard to understand. I do tend to talk fast, and if you don't have native English speaker, it might be a little harder, so I do apologize for that. But anyway, we're here because we all have this higher purpose. We are all here to seek out the growth that our soul wants us to have. As you grow more and more, as you develop more and more, you reach a higher plane, and that higher attainment comes to you. So it's all good. It's all part of a positive thing here. So we don't need to be too focused about what all these things are. But anyway, it's not a big deal. We're just working on these things one at a time. And it all comes into focus by how we relax into the now and what we're trying to do here in this moment. So it says, be the change the world needs, says Jay Money. That's right. So here it is again. It is a making of all things good. It is an awe-inspiring restoration of all nature and holy, and it is wrought inside the process of time by the eternal will of the Creator. That is a very interesting term. The process of time. And so that, as we've talked about before, ties in with this concept of a 25,000 year cycle that is bringing us through a structured initiation, that we're working through this together. We're working through a long-term cycle where the Earth is drifting along with the sun around a companion star. And as it goes around that star, we've talked about this in other shows, it goes through geometry. And the geometry ends up taking 25,000 years to complete itself. When you get to the end of the cycle, there's an energetic surge, and you get these massive, massive changes. Can you talk about Bitcoin? We're not really here to talk about Bitcoin today. Shelley Dean says, you're a sweet man, one of the sweetest on earth. I really appreciate that. Ignore Three Eye Atlas and remove fear-mongering clickbait. Only focus on things you can change. So, anyway, you guys, some of the stuff is funny here. You guys are writing some funny stuff. Hit that like button, A-Team, says Trent Mollick. Yeah, and again, thank you all for the super chat donations as well. They're very, very helpful when you bring those in. So the 25,000 year cycle is definitely one of the things that we're looking at here, the structured initiation. I'm so glad I've got slides again this week. Last week I had to really work without them, and that was really tough. But now we've got them back. So we're going to talk again about the concept of this infinite intelligent universe and how life on Earth is being overseen by a spiritual plan. We're not alone. We're not living in a materialistic duality. We're living in a higher reality where, in fact, our lives are always in a state of change, and that state of change can be beautiful or it can be terrifying. To keep it beautiful, you want to be able to attune to the highest vibration possible. Vakapalo says, living in the present is all that matters. The present is a gift. Yes, that is very true. So let me go. I'm going to turn up my heater a little bit right over there. And it's a little bit cold, and I'll feel better when I got the heat up. So let me just do that real quick. Hold on, you guys. It'll only take a split second, and then Daddy will be happier. And we want Daddy to be happy, don't we? Everybody should want that. Good enough. Okay. All right. I am on my way back. Boom. Good enough. Now I've got a little more heat coming in, and that's going to help a lot. So it's 34 degrees here, says Jacqueline. Wow, that's pretty crazy. 3i at last could be us from the future. Meg says, today is our 18-year wedding anniversary, spending our day watching you. We've been fans since 2009. Thank you for all that you do, David. I appreciate that very much. 3i Atlas is a time machine, somebody says. So, yeah, the oversoul, that's another name for it. Anyway, we're looking at how we can get beyond the sense of limitation. The divine beacon is what calls us away from that stormy sea of negative emotions. Living in those negative emotions will drag you down. You don't want to stay there. You want to try to get above and beyond that in any way that you can. And one of the greatest ways I can do that is just by actually being here with you guys today. It really makes a huge difference that you're here watching the show. And I want to thank you again so much for your participation in this. It means the world to me that you're here. I've been having very, very rough times in my own life. And so it's good that I can get away from that for a while and we can come and hang out together and be a big part of what's going on. It's a very important thing. Somebody says 3i Atlas equals these three letters that start with C and with A. And you know what else is in the middle. That is pretty weird, isn't it? Thank you, David. I love you, man, says Sean Krishy. Jacob Griffin says, thank you, David, for doing this so regularly. We really appreciate it. Lori Lee just donated. Sorry it can't be more. You are a gift in this world. Absolutely. So, yeah, this is guys saying some funny stuff here. Anyway, our life on earth is being overseen by a spiritual plan, and your higher self is that divine beacon that calls you up through this mass awakening experience that we're all being led through right now. We're all experiencing this at the same time, and it's a very exciting time to be alive for that reason. You know, the world is being initiated. We're going through very intense pain. I didn't think it was ever going to get this scary. Honestly, I was hoping 2025 was where it would all come to a grand conclusion, that the bad guys get arrested, everybody's happy, and we move on from there. But instead, what we're seeing is, gosh darn it, David, it's called the Divine Beacon, it's called the Oversoul. I just had to come up with a different name. You know, we wanted to come up with a title. That was the title that I chose. And so, you know, it's all good. So yes, we're here and we're going through this transformation because the world is on a 25,000-year cycle. It's the end of that cycle. We're going into the Satya Yuga. We're going into a higher vibrational frequency. And it's good. It's good for all of us that we can be here today. We can share this time with each other, and we can love one another. It's very important that we love one another and that we are able to, you know, expand in our awareness and expand in our understanding as much as possible. So that teaching of there is only one of us here, so very important to remember in these times, that we're not alone, because all of us share the same consciousness. All of us share the same vitality. All of us share the same soul. Ultimately, there's only one of us here. That gives a great deal of meaning and purpose to our lives that we might not otherwise have had. And so the more that you can tune in to the potential that you have, this higher self, the potential of what you could really be, you can start actualizing that potential. You can make yourself into something more than what you already are. The higher self is there waiting for you. It's waiting for you to have enlightenment experiences. It's going to send those to you. It's going to speak to you through the still small voice in your mind. And it's a wonderful thing. You don't want to ever be lost without your higher self. The higher self is there for you. It'll carry you through so many problems with ease and grace and effortless bliss, that all we have to do is really open ourselves to its existence, and we can gain so much. We gain that knowledge. We gain that understanding of what it really means to be human and to be alive on Earth right now. And that's a big positive. So I'm not at all upset about it. I like the fact that you guys are here. Sean Krishy says 2025 has been the year of hard truth, eye-opening to what we are all becoming. Absolutely. Nate X says, wait, are we in an infinite void of ever-expanding space? We may very well be. I'm not going to read what else he said after that. The secret space program is still ongoing, says Janet Paul. Yes, I believe it is. Hindus claim that people will just go to become another rug in the necklace of Shiva's skull. They don't want the light kingdom. I don't know about that. Anyway, yeah, we get all different kinds of opinions here. Not sure I agree with that one, but yes, we do definitely agree that we love Jesus. So that's good enough for me. But no, we all want to try to get along with each other and try to be peaceful with one another, and that's a very important thing. Let's try to show each other as much mutual respect as we can. Michael De Gregorio says, it's always darkest before the dawn. Cheers, brother. And Glynis Elaine says, 2025 isn't over yet. That's right. And we're now up to 3,439 concurrent viewers. Didn't you read that Michael told us the shift would be happening in 2025, says John Patrick. Well, I think we're in it. I think that much is going on right now, and a lot more is going to be happening soon. So again, don't get caught up in the minutia. You know, that prophecy was an interpretation of data that I had, and obviously the real world isn't always going to work the way that we think it will. I do apologize that the prophecy, that I put so much weight on it, and that's happened to me before with the year 2012, of course, and with the year 1999, way back when. But each time we hit these focal points, they definitely show us major changes. 2012, of course, ended and immediately goes into the Snowden revelations about mass surveillance, and that really opened up a lot of our eyes to a level of reality and a level of what the world is and what the world is doing that we hadn't seen before. So anyway, it's all good, and we're trying to be as happy as possible here. So we're doing what we can, and we're doing our best. So anyway, this is one thing we can all do together is we can share in each other's love, and we can share in the presence of one another's company. And I believe 2025 has been a very important year. And frequency 963 says it's just getting warmed up. You're right. We shouldn't have to pay to live, says Little Season Sideshow. So, yes, we have a collective shift in consciousness. That's very true. And we're all getting through this together. So, the law of one describes that we have a mind-body-spirit complex. This is a very important point in my source text that I like to work off of, meaning that your mind, your body, and your spirit are all different layers of being that intersect together into what it means to be you, that your mind exists separate from the body. When your body dies, the mind lives on. That's really, really amazing. You are far more than just a physical body. And so by learning how to realize that you have a spirit and a mind that is separate from the body, you're learning how to find that divine beacon. You're learning how to access your higher self. And Scarlet Fire says, words have power. Words can raise your vibration because they have tone. Tone is vibration. You can raise and lower your vibration with words spoken to yourself. They are stronger than thoughts. I like that. And somebody, Reven, says, we have so many trolls. Well, that's kind of the way it works here. It's okay. Jesus loves you says, love is a power. Not knowing how to love is to be powerless. I think that's great. So, greetings, David. What is your take on the government shutdown, says Cynthia L. Well, I certainly hope it ends pretty soon, because it is scary, people losing their benefits, and then the idea that the holiday travel. But they got to work it out. You know, both sides are going to have to come to a compromise, and let's hope that that happens pretty soon. Anyway, so you're far more than just a physical body, and part of what we have to do is attune. With attunement, you're learning to turn within and pay attention, pay close attention to that part of you that we lovingly call the Christ consciousness. This brings you out of the depths of despair. And remember that Jesus made a promise to us in John 14:12, as I do these things, so shall ye do them, and greater things, for I go unto my Father, Mother God. And that is absolutely true. So, you know, we're trying to find a way to be able to live better. And reading some of your comments here, Askell Strandgard, David, if hidden forces truly influence global events, do we as individuals still have genuine free will, or are our thoughts and choices subtly programmed by something beyond our awareness? Well, that's a good question. You know, I do think we are being influenced, and we want to try to avoid getting too dragged down by that negative influence. We want to try to stay above it and stay peaceful and positive. And that can be difficult. It can be difficult because there's a lot of people that, you know, a lot of people who spend time dwelling in their despair and spending too much time in negativity. That's not really going to help you. The divine beacon will call you forward. Your higher self will bring you out of that despair. And we are all living in this now moment where you can get beyond your own limitations. As I do these things, so shall you do them, and greater things. It is so wonderful when you start to think about it that way. And somebody, John Patrick says, the Charlie Kirk event was the turning point and precipice for many. It really did. I think it, Joe Schmo said, can I get some fireworks and poutine with your divine bacon? But yes, the Charlie Kirk event, not to disrespect him by reading another comment, it was a very important point, very important timing, and, you know, that definitely had a huge impact on me, I will say that. We really found out that there is an enemy out there. There's something going on that we got to pay close attention to. It was very, very frightening. It really just disjointed me. I definitely have PTSD from it, and I definitely worry about my own mortality all the time as a result of that. What am I doing here, you know? So, you know, we can have all these things take place. There's definitely a way to go here that is positive. So we will, you know, we'll try to do what we can. And so I thank you for that. Thank you for what we can do. Scarlet Fire, I just gave you a wish fulfillment right there. So that's good. Anyway, I'm happy to be here today. And so much to enjoy, so much to share, so much to live through. We are living in the promised times. We are living in this moment that has given us so much hope. We've been waiting for this for thousands of years. It's finally upon us now. The glory of this second coming of Christ, the Christ rebirth within all of us, that's part of what's going on. As I do these things, so shall you do them, and greater things. Casey's source said that we're following a Christ pattern, that we're all being led through an awakening into this higher self. We're all following that divine beacon in different ways. Some of us are going to lose. Some of us are going to gain. Not everybody gains. Spiritual truth is not for everybody. You know, it can be difficult at times. I totally get that. The new golden calf is personal pain. Don't make that your altar, says Vacapalo. So, yeah, we're all working tirelessly on this as much as we can, and we're doing our best to live up to our own potential. It's very, very important that we do that. So I'm really enjoying your comments today, and I thank you guys for writing so much interesting stuff. It's really great. So anyway, thanks to you for this live stream. It's just what my wretched soul needs right now, says Nadex. Well, I don't think you have a wretched soul, but I certainly relate to the feeling. Cameron Clapp says, Angry Daddy impression. Gosh darn it, David, the oversoul divine beacon is exponentially accelerating to our collective awakening. All right. So we're following a Christ pattern. We're following something that was designed for us by the universe to bring us into a higher consciousness. This shirt doesn't really work too well under the tuxedo, does it? The collar keeps messing up. Anyway, I'm trying to keep it nice and straight for you. Not all Jedis are chosen ones, says Marcus Inks. We got some laughter icons going in. Letting go is so hard. I agree. So anyway, time is upon us now. Time is upon us to rise to that higher potential, to follow that divine beacon, to guide our way through all these changes. It's a really intense time. I get that. The suffering is intense. The upheaval is intense. We don't know what we're going to be able to do from one moment to the next. We're challenged. We have difficulties. And life can be really, really freaking hard. But throughout all of it, we're just learning how to, you know, get to the next level and find out what we really are. Find out who we are. Find out how we can be better at what we're doing. You know, this is what it's all about. We take stock in our winnings. We look at what's good. We look at the power that we have. We look at the joy that is flowing into our lives at all times. And that is living the life of Christ. Living the life of Christ is a life of peace. It's a life of happiness. It's a life of attainment. It's a life of moving through stuff that didn't seem like we would ever be able to heal from it, the blockages that seem to be so all-consuming. And you learn how to get beyond that stuff. You learn how to rise to the occasion and be a better person. And that is what I am all about, man. I am all about like learning how to get beyond whatever has held me back before so that I can really actually live the life that I was meant to have. And I want you to do the same. I want you to try to find that golden light within yourself, follow that path, follow that remembrance. And as you're doing this Christ pattern, this is also known as the hero's journey. Now, we talked about this many times before. The hero's journey is the backbone of all ancient and modern mythology. The hero's journey carries us through a series of archetypes, a series of lessons that we're here to learn that have been around since time immemorial. So the hero's journey is our guide. It's a pattern that is based on Christ. And we all want to be part of that. Love is the key that opens all doors, says Chris G. Teresa Leone says, sorry you're having a rough time, David. Me too. Thanks for your presence. Awaken One says, we are there for each other. Mark Levine is your angry uncle. Lexi Abbey says, how do med beds fit in? That would help. I think that, again, as we awaken to our own Christ potential, we're all going to become like med beds in our own right. That is a big part of what's going on here. Joe Lee says, I'm a screenwriter. I followed the hero's journey story for my script story development. You're absolutely right. Everybody has to do that. So anyway, we've got a lot of people here, and so we can be happy that everybody's got something going on. It's positive one way or another. It's a good thing. So what we do is we try to we try to get beyond our negativity. We try to get beyond how long it takes for us to have to, you know, be stuck in the same slots over and over again. The hero's journey is actually a very great tool for getting beyond your own limitations. It can really transform your life when you start to realize that you are the hero in a story and that you are the awakening master that has the ability to transcend everything that you thought was so difficult. Nothing can hold you down when you start to awaken to your own heroism. And so the hero is a flawed being who is starting out at the beginning of the story. As you know, they in one of the books on screenwriting, he says there's 6 things that need fixing. The typical hero has 6 different flaws that they'll put into the screenplay for him. And so that has a lot to do with why is the hero on the quest. The hero is you, and boy, this thing. The hero is you, and the quest is how you can become more attuned to your own deeper reality. And so, you know, we have a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of stuff that is trying to drag us down, hold us back from reaching our potential, but we don't need to stay there. The hero's journey calls us to a higher form of service, a higher form of action, where we're actually able to live in a new way. Try wearing your collar out. It might work better. I can try that. Let's get a little bit more. You guys like that? Does that look good? Yeah, that actually looks pretty good, huh? I think we can live with that for now. Might work better. What do you think? You guys like it, or should I tuck it back in? We'll find out. We'll have an audience, audience vote on whether you think it should be out or in. But I kind of like it out. We'll change it up a little bit here. Elvis shirts are cool. It looks good, says Chris G. And yep, there's Scarlet Fire. You are now one of my moderators, so thank you. I anointed her as a moderator. She now has the power to do things. And she's got a little tool next to her name now as a result of that. Looks good, looks good. We like it out. I like it out. Untucked, long hair, I don't care. Okay, great. So we'll leave it like this, and it's probably going to keep it from being in such trouble. All right. So we made a decision, we worked it out, and we're doing fine here. Thank you guys for your donations. Thank you too, David, to Scarlet Fire. Yep, I appreciate that. And Sunny Sky says, David, I think your quest is free energy for us all. My electric bill was $500 this summer. I'm okay, but my dad lost his benefits, so things are very tight. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but we're happy that you're able to get that worked out, and that you can, free energy. Yes, we'd love to have that happen, and I hope you can survive the best you can. Charles Cristovo says, Christ is not an external figure for worship, it's an internal communion. I agree. No need for clothes. Your spirit is beautiful. Well, we're not quite at that point of our relationship together, but we're... Anyway, the hero is a flawed being who finds his quest or her quest for meaning, and that is the quest is the inciting incident that brings you into what you're really searching for. How do you find that passion that's going to drive you through the difficulties of life? It is the quest. It is something that you search for. It is something that compels you to keep moving forward. And Beverly Adams said she would be honored to be a moderator. Well, guess what? I agree. So we will give you that power as well. So there you go. And so we're going to beef up our security here so that we have more time and more ability. The people who have been with me the strongest, we're going to give you guys some ability to help out, and that really helps me too. So anyway, life is good, and I'm really excited. So the flaws of the hero actually have to be dropped when this flawed being finds a quest for meaning. In order to accomplish the quest, you have to actually move beyond your flaws. That's really a very big part of how the hero's journey relates to our spirituality. And so, yes, we can, Vakapalo, you're definitely able to be part of us too. So let's give Vakapalo that power as well. I think that's fine. Okay, we got some moderators now. I didn't realize I could do this, but I think that, you know, people who are happy to perform, you know, we're going to give you that service. So, yes, we'll make some standard moderators here. That's really great. Now they're all just going to be like on top of it, right? Like, oh my gosh, as soon as somebody does something. There we go. I didn't realize it was that easy, and you're saving me a fortune, so thank you very much for that as well. And, yep, so now we got everybody wanting to join in and be part of that. So yes, Ross, you've been good to us over time, so we'll give you that as well. Now there's just so many of them, it's going to be impossible for anybody to say anything that's going to be too upsetting. Anyway, the clothes are okay. Infrared light goes right through your clothes in the early morning and late afternoon. All right. So yeah, we're good, and we're learning how to get together. I'm building my team right here in real time, finding the people who are the most able to handle and tolerate the intensity of the heat in the kitchen. And you guys get to be moderators now. So I love it. Thank you guys so much. We love you. You all get a wrench. And so let's see. Yeah, we can do that as well. What happened to the gobblers? Okay, if he wants to do that, we'll give it to him as well. Lucas Mazzero. All right. Building up a team. Building up a team. And so anyway, when we have the hero's journey, the flaws have to be dropped in order to accomplish your quest. And this is facing off against the villain. The villain is the part of you that is the adversary. It is both within yourself, it's the negative self-talk, it's the negative thinking, and it's also outside of yourself. You get to be, you know, looking in from the outside, and you realize, okay, this is what it's going to take. It's going to take acceptance. It's going to take peace. It's going to take tranquility. And, you know, we're working on that. We are going to do a new course to compensate for other things. Wow. And Sandalphone 9 just donated $100. And so thank you very much for that. David, your moon in astrology is the same as my sun, 12 degrees Taurus. Woohoo! Thank you for spending this time with us and for all that you do. There she is right there. And there's Muhammad Adams' quote. We thank you both very much. That is awesome that you did that for me. And our revenue is rising, so that's really great. New moderators in the chat is So Scorpio Season, says Frequency 963. Yeah, if you know anybody who wants to do it, we're happy to do that. Gene Novacek just donated, said hello. All right, we're glad that you're there. And again, if anybody doesn't want to be a moderator, that's fine. You can probably turn it off. But you know, now we've got some good volunteers here, and we're getting it done. And I'm very happy about that. I'm very excited to get a new course from you, says Sunny Skies. I have old tapes and CDs from the early 2000s, but they're now scratchy. I'm glad we have iTunes. I'm not a stalker, says Maria Davis. Okay, so you have to drop your flaws to accomplish the quest. And in the screenwriting history, the hero must appear to be dead for 5 pages of screenplay. That's a very, very important point, too. The quest looks like it's been lost. The flaws look like they overtake you. It appears that you cannot find the divine beacon. It appears that you've been cast adrift. You've been left alone. There's nothing left for you. You're on the sidelines now. You're not in the game anymore. That is only a temporary phase. You get back on track, and you rise up from, again, this symbolic death that is in all of the different screenwriting storylines that you see. There has to be a symbolic death of the quest. There has to be this sense that you can't go on, that you've been stuck there, that it's no more anything else. So yes, Sunny Skies, we definitely add you as a moderator too. That was a good request that came in. It's all good. So who wants to handle the next troll that's there? We got a bunch of moderators. I don't have to do it myself, but maybe I will anyway. We'll just remove that one message. Anyway, You guys got to be quick, or else I'll get it before you do. But no, we're doing well. Everything's good, and we're gonna be able to keep moving forward. And I'm glad that it's all happening the way that it is. So, thank you guys, everybody, for stepping up. Thank you for being a part of this. And you know, life is happy. So, we're all going to be transformed. This is part of what we're dealing with, is the ascension. And I'm telling you right now, this idea that the hero has to disappear, we're in that phase right now. This is called the all is lost point. But then what's happening is, this is while you're facing off against the villain, you pick yourself back up. Oh, Jean Novacek meant she was violent. Okay, that's fine. We can add her too. So now we got a whole team of them. She definitely deserves a spot. This is something I'm giving to people who have shown the highest degree of loyalty. They've been here the most, and they've had the most amount of consistency, and so they know about respectful conduct and how we can, you know, get to be. Yeah, that's true. I totally agree, Ginny Blankenfeld. Someone should also volunteer to cut short clips of videos for shareable content similar to Candace Owens style. I totally agree. If somebody wants to do that, write in at our website, divinecosmos.com. Let me know what you're interested in doing, and we'd love to have you. Thank you for your presence today, says Sacred Ways. So, the hero's journey is no joke, man. You get to this point where it's all is lost, and you feel like you're down and out, and there's no way out of this, and you're stuck down there. You face off against the villain, and you achieve triumph. So this is a pattern that we're all following in our lives. It's a pattern that's written into the universal matrix itself, that we rise above our limitations. We rise above what holds us down. We follow that divine beacon of light that calls us into the Christ consciousness. And what a glorious thing that is. The more that we can achieve that, the more that we can be part of that. When I go over here, I think I want to have the tux look better. No, it's okay. I think I like it like this. Facing off against the villain, achieving triumph, this is a very, very good step for us. And it is definitely associated with accessing your higher self. There's 3 major phases that it says in the hero's journey we go through, and that would be separation, initiation, illumination, that's actually 4 phases, and return. Or sometimes it's just separation, initiation, return. But you could call illumination, which is the finding of the white light of Christ, as another phase in there, so you could call it 4. But first you have to be separated, and that's where you feel, you know, distanced from everybody, distanced from the universe. Your flaws seem to be overtaking you. Then we go into initiation, which is where you're facing up against your fears, you're facing up against your shadow. All the darkest things that you didn't want to deal with come raging up in your face to be reviewed. It's a very intense time. And then you face off against the villain, which is essentially the embodiment of your flaws, and that leads to the illumination. You spend that time feeling like you're down and out. And you know, we transform from that. We transform by learning how to get beyond the scope of what was needed. And oh, this is great. You moderators are working. This is awesome. And you guys are my volunteer team. David, I am exactly at the point of feeling like all is totally lost, she says, with the Canadian flag. Sorry to hear that, but, you know, we're working on it. We're working on getting through this as best we can. And again, that calling upon your higher self is so important. Learning how to rise above the limitations that once defined you. It can really change your life as you learn that it's okay to be human. It's okay to be making mistakes. It's okay if you don't always have the ability to forgive yourself. We just do the best that we can. And the chat is slow, says Irish Jewel. I think it's okay. But some comments are best ignored. Glynis Elaine says, great job, moderators. That's right. We've totally turned things around. We got a moderating team. You guys are awesome. You're helping me out. And we did it together, man. Saving me a fortune. So, separation, initiation, illumination, and return. You go through the separation, you feel like you can't bear to live, you know, you feel lost, and then the quest is what calls you through those flaws into a quest for life again, a quest for meaning and purpose. You face off against your own embodiment of shadow, the villain. You have illumination. This is the concept that you're getting into a much higher level of self-respect. You learn how to stand up against the evil that you might have inside your own psyche, the evil that is projected around you. Black Swan Sybil just donated $100. Thank you very, very much. And says, I think your background needs a lava lamp. Well, we're not going to get a lava lamp, but I appreciate that anyway. That would be funny. Thanks, David. You're making my 9-hour drive back home very enjoyable. Valerie Aframayan says, so happy, David, you have moderators now to block your trolls and harassment. This is true. It's a great thing. And now we can work on this. So happy that we've done that. I didn't really even realize it could be possible. But, yep, Ross Feinstein, he just got one of them. And we're all, he's in timeout. Well done, Ross. Thank you, buddy. We're doing this together now, and it's going to help a lot. So, yes, we are going to try to do another course here pretty soon. David says, Kalians, today I'm going to stop my alcohol consumption. That is awesome. That is your own history coming to fruition when you can learn how to get beyond your addictions. I am totally sober now. I can't always say it's easy. Sometimes I wish I could still do it. But, not if it's going to hurt me with the insomnia and the anxiety and the panic. I just don't want that. So sending them to Block Island. I hope I see that your guitar get put to use sometimes. There will be time for that. Anyway, so life is good when you're able to understand that you're on a hero's journey, that you are on a sacred quest. You're not left alone. You're not stuck there. You can move through things and you can get to a higher aspect. So the final stage is return. Once you go through this illumination, you then have to return to the world with the knowledge that you gained. This is a big part of following that beacon. You return to the world with the knowledge you gained. You have a renewed perspective. You have a cosmic understanding that takes you to new levels of your own beingness. And that's great, man. That's where we all want to go. In the final facing off against the dragon, which is, again, one of the main ways in which the Black Swan Sybil says, may I send you a lava lamp? No, we don't need any more stuff right now. I thank you again for the donation. She just donated $100, but I'm already in the process of moving. I've got too much stuff. I have nowhere to put it. So, this is my lava lamp right now over here. But no, let's not, I don't need I don't need a lava lamp. 3 strikes, you're out. Yes, I think that you guys do have the ability to completely block users as well. Let me just see what that says here. Yeah, you have standard moderator privileges. Anyway, we're all, we're going to be able to do more and more with this. Kathy McIntyre says, may I moderate, please? Kathy, we need to hear a little bit more from you. Your name isn't quite as familiar as some of the others. But anyway, Steffi says she'd love to be a mod. Who's Steffi? Anyway, I don't want to get too tied up in all this stuff, but we actually don't really need that many. They're all gonna be working. Deanne Johnson donated. I love Sundays with David. Michelle Feltman says, hi, David. Thank you for all that you do. Thomas Flip says, I think in 5D, no alcohol or drugs. Where are you going to move? Not back to Holly Weird. No. We don't know where I'm moving yet, but we're just trying to get something to happen. And it's just been a very difficult process. So lava lamps run too hot, says Vicky Crew Fuller. Yeah, they can be dangerous. And more moderators than chatters, says Scarlet Fire. That's right. David, your music CD really helped me. Wander Awakening is the hero's journey. That's right. I definitely followed that pattern as well. And the only thing that needs yeah, okay. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for all the stuff that happened. What happened to your Michael sword? It's here. It's just that it's very vulnerable. It can tip over easily, so I decided to take it off the set for now. And that's okay, So Anyway, in the hero's journey, if it's the classic story where you face the dragon, you end up rescuing the things that the dragon was guarding. The dragon guards the virgin and the gold. And so the gold represents the spiritual consciousness that you're holding on to, and you get that back. And the virgin represents, again, the virginal mind that is free of the pain that is so obviously there in many other ways in our lives. And so these metaphors really hold true and bring us a great deal of satisfaction when you see how the gold and the virgin all correlate with the virginal subconscious, the superconscious mind. These are very, very significant things. Your real-world challenges can seem far more mundane once you actually are able to listen to that divine beacon. That is another very important point. As you work through the hero's journey, that quest inspires you, it ennobles you, it brings you into an awareness of what you're really doing and how you should be performing. You know, what's going to be the best thing for you. And it's interesting. The comments have kind of slowed down a little bit. Maybe everybody's a little more afraid now because we have a whole team of moderators ready to jump. But that's okay. You know, please keep writing. And some of you have really uneducated messages in here, seriously. There's another one, moderators, I see. They're all coming in. Anyway, your real-world challenges become more mundane. You're able to get beyond that and not feel so dragged down by everything that's going on. You can actually have a much higher sense of yourself, much higher sense of your purpose, and that's really wonderful. So here's another thing that I think is very, very important about the tuning into your own divine beacon, and that is making sure that you have a good diet and making sure that your exposure to various fields is not overdone. This is becoming a really big thing. So let's talk about diet first. There's definitely foods that will drag you down, and I think that it also correlates with weight gain. You definitely want to try to avoid carbohydrate. Overdoing your carbohydrate intake, that can really drag you down. That's something that we all are aware of. And at the same time, sugar, refined sugar, just sweeteners in general, any type of sugar tends to be something that's really going to lower your ability to connect with your higher self, and that is important. So again, the sugar and the wheat, if you go into these hypnosis seminars that train people on how to lose weight, the most common things they advise you to do is to drop your sugar and drop your grain intake. You know, so again, I think that some carbohydrates are good. I do actually eat sweet potatoes so that I'm not completely carb free. I don't want to be that way because that can be problematic as well. And so, but anyway, yeah, there's definitely good stuff going on. So, Sitting Kitty says, I eat a plant-based diet. The myths surrounding carbs are myths. I've been at this for 9 years. Eat whole foods. That's the key. Great. And a love for life, says David, it was a 5-hour video of yours sent to me by an overseas friend showing me Orange Man was good. Took me 3 days to get through the video, but afterwards I immediately admitted that and then it kind of drops off from there. My comprehension, ... Anyway, I am not known to you, but I watch you a lot. I create videos. Some have quite your wisdom in them. I'm the quiet observer, says Helena Walker. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, so I think diet is important. And again, I think everybody can agree on refined sugar. You really want to try to cut your sugar intake. It'll help you enormously in terms of being able to connect with your higher self on a better level than ever before. Medical mediums diet all the way. Can you confirm if you have an address for fan mail? Monica Kanagowski, yes, that is P.O. Box 3700, Nederland, Colorado, 80466. You can go back and listen to that again if you need to. David, you're looking slimer. I think you mean slimmer. Hopefully I don't look like a slimer. Whole foods, no true grains, definitely no weaponized wheat, no processed food. I've been doing paleo AIP for 6 years. It helped heal severe autoimmunity problems. Very interesting. Yep. So that's going to take you a long way, and you know, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit. I think is very important. You know, there are ways in which you can do vegan, vegetarian as well. I'm not saying you can't. It's what works for you. But again, you know, especially white flour, man, you want to stay away from refined carbohydrates if at all possible. That will really help you out so much bigger than you could ever imagine. Tanya Fetty says, I only eat fruits and some veggies. Going to the grocery store literally makes me feel physically sick. Vicky Crew Fuller, I eat whatever I want, but only once a day. Well, this is great. And I'm so glad that we have moderators now. It's definitely making it safer for everybody. And I'm really glad for that. Kamut chickpea flour. Yep, that might be something you could do. So anyway, the diet practices are really important. I also advise that you steer clear of processed food in general if you can avoid that. You know, fast food, all that kind of stuff is really going to be detrimental. You want to go for single ingredient foods, foods that raise your vibration rather than lower your vibration. This is very, very important. I'll send you an end times analysis of Islamic prophecies, says Muhammad Adam. Keep an eye out for the email. That's great. Definitely want to hear that. What about organic coconut sugar as a substitute for refined? I think that's a good one. Raw honey is full of nutrients and minerals and is a humectant. That's good. Sad that some people have nothing better to do than waste time on miserable comments. Natural sugar from fruit is better. So anyway, life is good. We got some moderators stepping up. Lucas Mazzaro just stepped up. Self-sufficient living, eating fruit, veggies, meat, and clean water. Steer clear of citric acid, aspartame, and corn. Yep, I would agree with that. Says Bryn Bolchus is definitely making that point. I mean, we could do a whole show just on diet and on the importance of diet. I did eat some carbs today. I did have a couple pieces of whole grain toast just so that I knew that I'd have long-lasting energy to get through this. Ross Feinstein said, I recently had a TPE, total plasma exchange, along with my IV glutathione. It was a game changer. I'm so hungry now, says Angela. Stevia seems suspicious to me, says Kiki. Well, again, we could go on and on about this. Valeria Negrito says, you are blessed, you are valued, you are inspired, you are loved and blessed. Thank you for your light. Thank you guys for being here. It is awesome to be here. And I'm really glad that you're here with me today. We're sharing this experience together, and it's wonderful. You are really good friends. You're my family, and I'm so glad that you're here. So we want to focus on good diet, and that's a very important thing. Cat John 316 says, when I tried to be vegan, I ended up not getting enough protein. My muscles have suffered. I lost strength and balance. Yeah, you gotta be careful. 100% avoid high fructose corn syrup. It's almost like poison, says Trent Malick. I would totally agree with that. Somebody says they're on an orange juice fast. Yes, we are family here, says Vicky Crew Fuller. Absolutely. So, you know, we're doing what we have to do to live better lives and follow that divine beacon within ourselves. Oh, Jacqueline, you got a good point there. I avoid all foods prone to mold like corn, grapes, and old grains. Interesting. Grapes, yeah. I was doing grapes for a while, and then I started to realize the same thing. You got to be really careful with them, and you can easily get, you know, problems with mold. And they have a really high sugar content as well. No partially hydrogenated oil, says Nina Bravo. Wild locusts and honey, LOL, says Jan Elkins. Mold is evil, says Ross Feinstein. You're right. I live stream your show now for 2 years. Okay, well, I haven't really seen you before, but he wants to be added as well. I think right now we kind of have enough moderators. It seems like we've got plenty of them. We don't want to have everybody all doing it at the same time, but thank you guys. And you know, if we need more, if we can't, we don't have enough, but we don't need like 20 of them. We got some people who stepped up. They seem to be doing well. And there's a few others I would take on if you guys want to do it. Some of you guys who have been really, really visible and most consistently there for me, I'm happy to bring you in too. Elisa Taylor says she's had 3 NDEs, and I've seen a community of like believers gathering. Vegans can't have chicken eggs, Vacapalo, says Ross Feinstein. Oh, Midnight Mark. Yeah, you can be in there. He's got it. Midnight Mark, definitely. He's been around for a long time. Okay, we just made you into a standard moderator. If you show up enough that I totally recognize your name instantaneously, then boom, we're good. Dina Dragovich, what have I missed? Well, we talked about Asclepius' Lament. We talked about this prophecy of what would happen at the end times. We're talking about the hero's journey and how to tune into your inner Christ within, how to learn how to become more awakened and evolved as a being. We got 3,550 people watching. All right, enough diet talk, on with the show. Okay, yes. Now I want to give you guys a little bit of something scary, something that you really want to pay close attention to. It'll really change your life once you learn this, and I think we all need to be aware of this. It's the exposure aspect, and I got to be careful how I say this, so we're not going to use certain keywords. We'll just say E, for example. The E exposure is something that causes difficulties. It can cause reductions in your memory and your happiness if you are overusing. So this is research that just popped up this past week. It was a little bit older than that, like a couple weeks ago, from October 23rd, study linking a surge in certain problems to this type of experience. And so they were looking at Sweden and Norway, and they're experiencing, as you can see here, an alarming rise in certain types of issues. And a new study has linked it directly to this exposure. And this exposure must be reduced. People must be informed about the health risks. So again, this is actually something that really, I wouldn't have normally covered something like this, except that it's just got so much significance and importance for us. And when you see how big the numbers are, it's like, whoa. Yeah, turning it off or putting it in certain modes is important for me, says Muhammad. You're absolutely right. And I also like to be away from it. You know, you don't want to hold on to it with your hand. That's a very important thing as well. But wait till you see how big this turned out to be. So this was published in a journal, the Archives of Clinical Biomedical Research, okay? So it's a real thing. And here's the link where you can go and find it for yourself. And the two authors are Nilsson and Hardell, one of which is, of course, a PhD. So here's the actual Fortune Journal, and you can see right here increasing numbers aged from 5 to 19 years who have these certain issues that they're finding in these various places. So, you know, it's again pretty intense that this keeps on being an issue. Sorry, I'm just moving out here. I'm going to turn the heat back off again because I think we've had enough for right now. But you know, we want to pay attention to stuff like this, man. This is no joke. What they found is really, really staggering, and I didn't know that it could actually be that strong of an effect. So that's why I wanted to share it with you. So yes, lots of good things going on. What is E? Well, again, it's a term that I'm using for this various type of experience that we want to not have. We don't want to expose ourselves to it. And it's the top right word there. If you see that, that's what we're talking about. So they examined this national health data from these two countries, and they found that there were consultations going on that had increased by 8.5-fold. That's 850% between 2006 to 2024 in that demographic up to the age of 19. That is, Paula Mignon says, have you stopped doing the Michael prophecies? No, it's on pause, but we'll probably come back to it. Again, this is what I felt inspired to do this week. And, you know, I'm just trying to keep you guys enlightened, give you different types of content at different times. Change cameras, David, he says. Well, that was just a short thing that we had to do. So anyway, we're good. He doesn't realize there is nothing on the screen. No, I did. You guys just got to be a little more patient. That's all. Anyway, oops, oh, maybe I didn't have it. That's right. I see what happened. I'm sorry. So you are correct. Let me go back here a little bit more. Shungite all the way. Yeah. So here we go. Now I've got it. Sorry, I didn't have it on the right screen, but now we can do this again. So again, it was published in these archives. I think we're going to have it right now. This is the link, and you have Nilsson and Hardell being two of the main two authors of the study. So we're good now. Okay, everybody's happy. So this is the increasing numbers who have these various issues in these two countries. And it's shocking when you look at the actual numbers. The number of consultations for this type of issue increased by basically 850% between 2006 and 2024, from 5 to 19. I mean, that is so outrageous, so shocking. And, you know, yep, we're looking at all that. That's good. It's a very shocking study. I mean, like, you know, what the hell? How could it be that much? How could people be suffering that much? And does this affect your connection to the divine? I absolutely believe it does. That's why I'm bringing it up. I think this is going to totally impact your ability to connect with your higher consciousness and to have a better sense of yourself. So that's a big, big thing. In Sweden, the number of people in this age bracket who were diagnosed with this mild problem, which also causes this, increased by nearly 60-fold from 2010 to 2024. 60-fold as opposed to 8.5-fold? Yeah, we're talking about now 60,000%. I mean, that is so shocking. And from 2010 to 24, we're talking about a 14-year period as the adoption of these situations become more and more prevalent, as everybody's got their own, right? And they're all working on it together. My God, 60-fold with this type of an impairment, that's just incredible. So I think that this is something we really want to take very good stock of. We want to pay attention to this type of data and be aware of what's really happening here. You know, let's try to have a life that can be kept peaceful. Wait a minute. Hold on. I want to make sure that everything's working out just right. So just give me a second, everybody. What happened? Okay, hold on. You just see. I don't know. Anyway, not exactly sure what went down there, but there's definitely an issue. I will figure this out later, but yeah, somebody's okay. Sorry, I got really distracted here. Somebody deleted something that we probably didn't want deleted, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But we will figure it out and we will analyze the problem. Let's see. Moderation activity will be shown. Okay, good. Hi, David. What are you? Well, we're not going to bring that one in. Anyway, sorry that I got distracted here. We're just trying to. We just have a lot of things going on, and it's all good. Why do you have so many cameras? Are you okay? Says Ninja Scalp. No, we're fine. Everything's fine. Just got a little warm there. I think that. Okay, never mind. We're good. Let me just make sure that I've got everybody. Okay. We got new icons to play with, David. I like it a lot. Shungite is great for electromagnetic. Yeah, okay. I had my WF disconnected several years ago. I only work on my phone data. It's getting hot in here, so Space Cadet, you're right. all of a sudden, for some reason, it got a lot warmer, and you know, we're gonna keep on going. It's okay. What happened happened. You're right. I'll figure out how to deal with that later. We'll figure out how to solve that problem. So, yep, no big deal. We're gonna solve it. Anyway, a 60-fold increase that has happened. That is a stunning number. Just unbelievable. And the authors agreed they argued in their report that this could be a leading cause of why this is happening. So no surprise, really. They cited numerous epidemiological and experimental studies showing that even at these really low levels, that you can have negative effects, and you know, this will directly impact these various aspects of the human mind and what's going on. Yes, I have my heater on. That's part of what it is. But, you know, I'm not really sure why that particular comment was blocked, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. I got to figure out, like, who are my participants. Let's see here. Second, user management. Oh, look at that. Okay, interesting. Standard moderators. All right. Okay, we're good. It's really tough watching the show today with all distractions. I'm sorry, but I just fixed it. I think I knew what was wrong, and we just solved it. So anyway, all right, we're good. So this is something that you really don't want to get lost in. And lowered access to intuition is definitely a big problem when you're in this case. And you know, the divine beacon will become harder to locate. So this is why, for example, I try to do a lot of work on my laptop, and why I'm not as interested in having anything in my hand. It's an important thing that I go through to try to keep that focus, so that I'm not, you know, not having to deal with that. So yes, I did solve the problem. There was somebody who was a moderator who probably shouldn't have been. And, you know, if he wants to appeal that, I took him off, but if he wants to appeal that, we'll bring you back in. But whatever he moderated definitely was not supposed to be moderated, so that just really concerned me. And so I did take him off the list. If he wants to get back on, that's fine, but, you know, we got to make sure that you don't, that's right. Do not accidentally promote a troll as a moderator. That's what happened, is he took down something that was totally legit, and I got to try to figure out how to deal with that here in real time while I'm doing the show. So, oh, he says you can't cap in such high rate. Is that all it was? Okay, well, sorry if that's all it was. But, you know, worst video ever, says Rawhide. I'm sorry. Sorry if you don't like it, but let's keep going. Let's keep on moving along. So this could be a structured effect to hold us back. I believe that this problem with the you know, this E, as I was talking about, is something that is not just an accident. It really does affect us in a negative way. I do apologize I had to interrupt here, but I was just trying to figure out why would that yeah, you need a moderator to moderate the moderators. That's funny. Anyway, we're good. You know, we got 3,500 people watching, and everything is good. So yeah, there's another one you can moderate. Somebody can handle that one. That's an insult to me. Anyway, I'm glad that we got you guys here. So it's a structured effect to hold us back. The Law of One describes these things as usable gadgetry that hold us back from being activated in the fourth density. And so we're going to keep that going. And, you know, no big deal. No big deal at all. All right, so trying to get through all this is interesting. This is a new learning experience. I'm putting people on, and we're trying to keep a good flow. Somebody said it was so inappropriate. I dropped my phone in the bathtub. The screen won't work. I've done fine without it going on a month. I was not a scroller, but still I don't miss it. That's funny. Angry Daddy's furious watching Daddy die on stage. That's really funny. I'm not dying on stage. I'm just trying to learn how to deal with having moderators, and then if one of them steps out and moderates something that shouldn't have been moderated, we just temporarily put him in timeout. He can appeal it. Keep rolling. Your show is fantastic. Thank you. All right. So, you know, we're doing what we have to do here, and it's all part of the flow. You're doing fine, David, says Michael Moffat. Thank you very much. Ray Briggs, I would love to help out and be a moderator for you. Yeah, you can be one. You're a long-term loyal supporter. Definitely no problem there. And I got him. It's the right guy. We didn't make a mistake. We know that we got people who... My 10-year-old starseed grandson went to the dentist. He had dental x-rays, teeth cleaning, and then he lost all memories of past lives, says FLA Patriot. Sorry to hear that. It's all good, man. That's right. Ray Briggs has been upgraded. Okay, so the usable gadgetry that keeps us from being activated into 4D, that's what the Law of One talks about. And because I've been on the phone a lot more, I have noticed this. So yes, you're kind of seeing how it's affected me too. The more that you can reduce your exposure, the more your mind immediately heals. You don't want to keep it in your hand. You want to keep it away from you on the speaker, and that's a very important thing. And also, again, this, you know, social stuff can distract you. It will enhance the effect. And I've, again, been doing more of that lately as well, trying to figure out, you know, what do I do with my time? How do I, you know, how do I get this stuff to work out? And I'm happy. I'm happy that I've learned how to spend more time being alone with myself and how to learn to tune into that divine beacon and really be able to spend a great deal of energy living up to that potential. You have potential. You are a brilliant, beautiful being, and I am so grateful that you're here with me today. Thank you so much. Linda Kiesling, yes, you can be one of them too. Let's make sure I got the right person though. Hold on. And add as a standard moderator, yes. Linda Kiesling, okay, great, because she's definitely one of the loyal ones who I recognize right off the bat. Yep, very simple and quite effective, says Betty. Zero tolerance. Well, we don't want to have zero tolerance, but we need to be able to keep it clean in there. And putting your feet in the grass for 10 minutes or more will get rid of the buildup, says Tom McWhorter. I would agree, that's a good move. I'm watching you on TV. The phone can hurt my eyes. Why is that? Well, I don't know. But yeah, watching on TV is probably the best way to do it. We're at 3,400. Yeah, this is great. The Wilcock Army grows. Use discernment moderators, says Ross Feinstein. Linda Kiesling says thank you. Ray Briggs says it's just a name. All right, we've got the team here. Does anybody want an Angry Daddy t-shirt? Yeah, we can. It would be great to get one of those going. Lock them. Okay, so good. Yes, so I'm learning through everything too. We're working together here, and it's a great thing. So an ever-changing river of ideas is coming at you from this social source, which diminishes your linear thinking and can create depression. And I've also noticed again that traumatic scenes are nestled in as well, based upon what you look at. So even if something horrifies you, right, and you don't really want to see it, but you spent time doing that, then, you know, it's gonna give you more of it. So the best thing you can do if you're trying to work a feed is just to scroll past it as quick as you can, so that the algorithm doesn't say that you want to see that. Because if you look at it, even if it's something difficult, you know, it'll be harder to follow. So anyway, somebody's trolling me, but everybody told me you were crazy. I just kept watching because I knew you weren't. I'm glad you guys are going out there against the trolls. Looking great, David. You are bending time, says Rosella Wilson. No, we're building a team. This is a great day, and I'm really grateful that you guys are here with me. Let's keep on going. So now what we're seeing is, this again, piece of current events, a majority are now supporting that this be banned for everybody under 14 years of old, 14 years of age. I mean, wow. Look at what we got here. We got all these different countries, Ireland, France, Australia, Great Britain, Brazil, India, Japan. What's KR? I'm not sure. Oh, Korea, US, and then Deutschland. So pretty amazing, even up to like 87%, which I guess ID is Ireland. 87% support it. That's incredible. Australia passed this for everybody under the age of 16 in September. It applies to all these different companies, intended to reduce social harm done to young people, set to come into force as of December the 10th. And they will be up against fines of 49.5 million Australian dollars if they do not adhere to the rules. Holy smokes. I mean, that is a huge thing. And, oh, that's funny. Kev the Tech. Imagine complaining about a streamer who is interacting with his audience. Unreal. David, you're doing great. Keep doing you. So, yes, you know, that's a pretty amazing thing to think about what's happening. And yes, I'm so glad that you guys are here. We've built a great team, and you know we need that. We need that, and it's saving me a whole bunch of money as well. So, ooh, okay. Sunny Skies just did a timeout. That's cool. So the new law was approved on November 28th, 24, with support from a majority of the public. But it did spark backlash from several rights groups who warned that it could cut off access to vital support, particularly from people in certain backgrounds. Okay, well, and critics also argue it could push them towards less regulated areas of the internet. So yes, you're going to be seeing a lot more of this going on. Maybe if parents are willing to try to enforce this, I don't know. So here's some of the quotes that we're going to talk about. Oh yeah, we already just read this, so now you're just getting to see it again. And it was supported by a majority of the general public, but again, minority groups apparently are going to be hurt by this, so they say, we don't want to hurt minority groups. We definitely don't. But it's kind of ironic and funny that they would say that. Your kids are going to have a meltdown if you try to do this to them. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because people really get... Oh, Ross Feinstein says, I don't think there was anything wrong with your comment. Well, it was only 600 seconds. It's not that long. And less regulated areas, push them in. Well, you know, we don't want that. I mean, some of it could be bad. I get that. But that I also found very ironic. This is the strictest of its kind on a national level, coming as other countries are grappling with how they can best regulate technology in a rapidly evolving world. As Statista's Anna Fleck shows in the chart below, using data from an Ipsos survey fielded in August of 25, it's not just Australians who support this full ban. It actually is all these other countries as well. Wow. And an average of 7 in 10 respondents across the 30 countries surveyed said the same. And yep, so reading and typing without caps. Somebody was talking about that. In France, an even higher share of adults held the view that children under the age of 14 should not have this, either inside or outside. Isn't that interesting? 85%. Wow. Sentiments on this use differed by generation. 39% of Gen Z said they would have supported the ban, but it's far higher in older generations. 69% boomers, 61% Gen X, 57% millennials. That is freaking enormous. That is enormous. And then we're now seeing a new study that just popped out today, and this really should sober everybody up even more. You know, we don't want to be stuck in the same boat as our children, and yet it affects all of us, so we have to be very careful about this. I'm so glad I got my team together. This is awesome. You guys are awesome. I don't think a majority of Australians agreed with the legislation. The bill was rammed through last year with minimal debate on the last sitting day of the year, says Tim G. Well, it's an interesting thing. We're talking about it because it's part of the current events. So let's just see. I'm going to check out. Oh, wow. Okay, I get it. Well, Linda Kiesling, I use all caps because my fingers stutter. Okay, I get it. And so this is definitely something that will hold you back from your own divine beacon. It's a very important thing to try to get beyond that. And it affects us too as adults. So check this out. This just came out literally today, you guys, 10:22 a.m., right before the show. A new study shows that this rising disability, which involves serious difficulties in these certain things, including decisions, is a public health concern, up 90% in adults 18 to 39 years old, the most dramatic rise in young adults who are Caucasian, 118%. And so now what we're seeing here on the graph is, again, these are adults. So we're looking at most of the people watching this show. I assume most of you are adults. Look at what's going on here, man. I mean, this is really shocking. And especially in the age group of 18 to 39 years, the percentage of the adult population, it is 0.1%, I guess is what they're saying. So it's still not a huge amount, but look at how much it's gone up. The prevalence went from 0.5 to 0.10 in that 18 to 39 year age bracket. Can we link all these studies for personal reference? Yes, you certainly can. I gave you the links. And anyway, we're doing good here. And my pal Sal, thank you for writing that in. Glad that you're here. So I don't know what to say. It's kind of shocking and surprising because this it's clearly affecting all of us. And the big message here is be careful how much you indulge. And again, be careful about how much of the E you're getting and make sure that it doesn't get too close to you, because we know what it's going to do. It's going to impact your, ability to make decisions. It's going to impact your mood, and it's going to impact your ability to connect to your higher self. So I like to be as, agnostic about it as possible, stay away from these sources as much as I can. And that really is what works for me. So here's the study. It's in the Neurology Journal. Kayla Lynn just donated and said, "Is divorce a real-world challenge? I'm sad. I wonder if God has another plan for my life. I'm losing my kids half the time." There she is right there. So sorry about that. Every time you go through an upheaval like that, it's obviously very intense. And we are grateful for your donation. We're praying for you. Smash the like button. We're at 1,797 likes. We can certainly get it to go up even more. Didn't we all think it was dangerous intuitively? I thought I was paranoid, but damn, says Vega 1. Yes, this really kind of blew me away. And Sunny Size says, "Thank you for the donation, Kaylin. We will pray for you." It really did blow me away, and I did not realize it was this bad. So I'm going to be a lot more careful now, and I want to make sure, again, to try to reduce the exposure, keep it under control. We're at 3,500 viewers, and so here's the publication of this study. Trends from the Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System 2013 to 2023. And it's a public health concern among adults in the U.S., which is where most of our audience is. A sharp rise in self-reported disability, which can include serious difficulties with things like concentration, remembering, and making decisions, from 2013 to 2023, using over 4.5 million responses from the CDC's own BRFSS, Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System, excluding the year 2020 because it was just so depressing, and those who actually suffer from depression. Age-adjusted prevalence increased from 5.3% to 7.4%, with significant gains starting in 2016. The biggest driver is adults aged 18 to 39, where rates nearly doubled from 5.1 to 9.7%, which is a 90% rise. That is pretty shocking, huh? A 90% rise in that age demographic, which is probably where a lot of people are watching from right now. And so, in contrast, older adults saw a slight decline. Maybe they're veering away from it. They're like, yeah, enough is enough. I don't want to be involved in this. So pretty fascinating, huh? To see this much of a decisive shift, it's like, wow. Well, white young adults showed the most dramatic increase from 4.4 to 9.6%, a jump of 118%. Holy smokes. And so, yeah, we're still talking about the divorce in there. Getting a phone could be like a rite of passage, something that shows the child is responsible, like getting a driver's license. Well, yeah, it's a big thing. And I really didn't know that this was such a factor. But it definitely, affects us all, and we all need to be careful. So, yeah, we're doing good. We got lots of comments coming in. Thank you guys for being here. This is awesome. The authors call this a growing public health concern, urging research into causes including stress, digital overload, or post-COVID effects, and they're targeting interventions for vulnerable groups. The study notes that this trend aligns with rising social media saturation and the central role of technology in young adults' lives, potentially contributing to cognitive strain with constant connectivity and information overload. Yep, I would definitely say they're on the right track here. So this is really, really eye-opening. From 2013 to 2023, a total of 4,507,061 responses were included in the analysis. And this is now, I'm quoting directly from their scientific paper. Apart from from analyses focusing on the strata of age, all estimates of cognitive disability were age adjusted. Most response were aged 18 to 39, that's 38.6%, identified as non-Hispanic white, 60.9%, and at least had high school education, 87.3%. The age-adjusted, self-reported disability prevalence in the U.S. rose from 5.3% in 2013 to 7.4% in 2023. That is a huge jump, statistically significant beginning in 2016. A lot of people obviously were getting more into it at that time. This is across, 4 million people, right? Among younger adults, 18 to 39, it nearly doubled from 5.1% to 9.7%, making this age group the primary driver of an overall rise in this level of disability in the United States. So yes, this is me being your voice of reason and telling you, that this is kind of like something that maybe you haven't paid enough attention to, but I would recommend that you definitely do. I think that it's something that we can all do. Does the router put out these things? Yes, it does. So you got to be careful. And I have another one right here. So too much scrolling, that's right. It has a lot to do with that. And I work in a seniors home. I can say sadly from experience that this cognitive decline is rapidly rising. Thank you for sharing this important topic. Yep, it definitely can happen. So I was cognitively impaired badly by mold, environmental toxins, and other things. I know it can happen. So Teresa Leone says, you're confirming so much of what's been going through my mind of late. Red light therapy, that's definitely a good thing too. You don't want to be exposed to blue light too late at night. That'll definitely knock you down and is something to be avoided. And they all say do not carry in contact with your body, but it's hidden in 400 pages of nanoprint. Yep, definitely. So yeah, natural light, plants, special indoor lighting can help to counteract these effects. Yeah, and you definitely, I would say, don't use the earbuds. That's definitely something that, that isn't going to help you, especially if they have if they're not connected with a wire. I would say I started to notice I was getting headaches from that, and you really don't want to be going there. So this is a very important issue. This is a very significant thing that affects us all. And now that we've got our moderators in place, things are we're doing really well in the comments, and we'll be there from now on. This is awesome. So sleep loss is going to negatively affect your access as well. Now, there's another layer of this whole puzzle that I want to bring you into now, which is the subconscious mind. As you start to awaken to the divine beacon, we start to tune into the idea that there are different levels of mind. There's a subconscious and a superconscious. And so, yes, you don't want to Have your phone near you at night. That's very important. You want to charge it somewhere else. And you want to learn how to, like, be able to wean yourself off of this. It's very much like an addiction. Box springs and spring mattresses will stop you from having OBEs or astral projections. That could be true. I don't know. But what about the headphones with Bluetooth? Yeah, I would definitely try to avoid that. I started to notice I was getting headaches from that. Okay, I can handle that one myself. Anyway, life is good, man. I'm not that unhappy. We do need to go back to analog, but again, I like to use the laptop. I think it's a lot better. The antenna is in the screen, and so that's farther away from your hands. It's inverse square law. The closer your hands are to the source, the charge is going to increase by the square of the distance, and so that really makes a big difference here. Thank you, Sunny Skies, for that. Wow, David Bro, I've been thinking about you a lot for the last 2 days, says DJ Troxygen Airways. Grounding is important. Your bare feet on the earth. Look into astaxanthin for helping to heal from this damage. Make sure you put anything technical away from where you are sleeping. I would say that. Blows my mind. I can sense David reading our comments. Let's try to respect that. It's Andrew Powers. Sometimes it's the only way I can hear. That's right. Stop scrolling. Seems we're afraid of missing out on new information, says Vicky Crew Fuller. I agree. That's one of the things that is challenging. So, we don't really know what's going on, but the hypnosis is real, says Scarlet Fire. Yes, this is an important point. When you expose yourself to this constant flux of pieces of information, you can definitely have issues that come up that are difficult. You can get grounding earthing pads connecting to wire, run out the window to the ground. Quartz crystals can be used to soothe your muscles. That was from Curious L. Everyone shush, David is on. Okay. So the next thing, again, we're going to talk about is the subconscious mind. This is an important point because hypnosis accesses the subconscious mind. Everything that you're being exposed to varying degrees, is going to get into your subconscious. So you got to be very careful because these brief moments that you run across as you're doing that can, in fact, influence you. And it can influence you in ways that you wouldn't expect. I think that the level of despair, the level of sadness, the level of, unhappiness can really be affected by this. And it also, again, piggybacks off of the technology and the effects of the technology that we were talking about. So you really want to be careful. You don't want to get dragged down into all this negativity. It's very, very important. In fact, now that I've been trying to say, like, well, I got to stay updated. I got to stay current about what's going on. Well, you just got to be really, really careful about what exactly are you seeing, where are you seeing it, what are you willing to look at, and how is it going to affect you from one day to the next? Because honestly, this is some crazy, crazy stuff that's coming along, and I don't always understand how we're going to get there. I don't understand how we're going to get to this healthier place. Yes, it's bad for your hands. I agree that. I can't stand to see the violence. That's the main reason I had to drop it. I totally agree. Even if you don't have a phone, you're going to be affected by it. Absolutely on point, says Midnight Mark. And cars are having black screens instead of digital dashboards, phone connections in cars, very distracting for driving. So yeah, we got to be careful because you can have a lot of upsets in your life. You can have thousands and thousands of things that you didn't really want to see, but just go slipping by really quickly. And, very, very important that we not give ourselves over to that too much, because these brief moments can influence you. And you could think of it as a post-hypnotic suggestion that will bypass your conscious mind. Now, this is actually something kind of scary, but, again, we're not afraid of the darkness here. We talk about everything, and we want to make sure that we're aware of what can be done. So post-hypnotic suggestion, let's talk about that a little bit. You can end up doing things and having no memory of it if you're under the proper state of hypnosis. And again, I don't think that social media is actually doing this. Just let's be clear. But, you know, deeper levels of hypnosis by trained hypnotic practitioners can go into scarier types of stuff. This was first discovered by Dr. Cleve Baxter. His book, Primary Perception, Biocommunication with Plants, Living Foods, and Human Cells. And this was a slide off of his website, but it says right there, Dr. Gene Houston, his back is, Cleve Baxter's work is essential reading for all who would delve more deeply in the nature of reality. And Deepak Chopra says Cleve Baxter's research has profound implications for humanity and its future evolution. So what are we seeing here? He had a plant, and he hooked it up to his polygraph. That was the lie detector test. And the plant started to show a human-like response. It was showing electrical activity, going up and down, back and forth, back and forth. And let's see what else we got here. These tools are designed to keep people continually reacting to external stimuli instead of creating. I found it very helpful. I ask myself often, am I creating or reacting? Yes, it's a very good point. And then also, as you're dosed with the E, you know, as you're dosed with that stuff, it actually makes you not able to remember as much, which then draws you more into the stream of all this distraction that is difficult, you know. So it is possible that there's light hypnosis going on. But anyway, Cleve Baxter was looking at the time of how he could study polygraph exams. He was doing the lie detector test on people. He hooked up his plant to the lie detector, and it had a human-like response. And then when he thought about burning the plant, that's the part of the graph that you see more towards the right. The graph suddenly spikes up very high. We'll probably do a big intensive on Cleve Baxter in the future. But wow, definitely, why are your slides blurry? They shouldn't be blurry. Ronald Schultz is asking that question. I mean, everybody else seems to be fine with the slides. Gabriel Cartwright, I'm out. I need some new info, not repeating old stuff. Sorry, Gabriel, but we are doing as much as we can here to keep everybody happy. And, you know, I think if you hang around, you're gonna learn some new things. So just hang in there with me, everybody. But we had one dissenter. That's okay. Again, the point is the divine beacon. How do you stay true to your guidance? And again, some people don't want this message of sobriety. This is sort of like a digital sobriety message that I'm giving you. You know, you really want to pay attention to this and be careful that you're not overexposing, because I've noticed it in effect on myself. I've been on the phone more lately, and I've carried it around with me, and it's like, dang, you know, definitely got to be careful not to get too much of this type of stuff. So yes, I heard a story. The polygraph plants were at a florist. They found a murderer that way. There's all different kind of things that Cleve Baxter was working on. But again, the part, and here was his website, by the way, Primary Perception website, the header off of the website way back when. This was something that he did that was not the same as his work with the plants. He hypnotized a woman who was working as an admin at the front desk in a major government facility. And I forget if it was a general or an admiral or somebody, it was a high-ranking military official. And so Cleve Baxter was an expert on hypnosis. And so what he did was he hypnotized her, and he brought her into a trance state where she was not conscious of what was going on from her normal consciousness. Now, a lot of people can be dissociative, where you have a different consciousness under hypnosis than you do when you're in your normal waking consciousness, and you won't remember the things that you are told when you are hypnotized. So again, this is why I would say, like, make sure that you don't start to, especially I would say, don't mess around with this stuff if you are, you know, losing consciousness and you're falling asleep. That's probably the worst time to be getting yourself in there and looking at these things. Nate X, thank you. He's going to go do a sound check now for tonight's performance. No wireless tech used. Thank you for the beautiful souls. Thank you, Nate X, for being here. Yep. So, again, no disrespect, says Gabriel Cartwright. None intended. Please talk about these two people who had a psychic connection. When are you releasing the footage in the classroom with the polygraph? Yeah, we do have that footage. I haven't actually gotten it back yet, but anyway, we do have somebody who has that footage, and it would be great to get our hands on it and use it in the future. That was a really great shoot, and I do know who it is who has it. His name is Michael, but I almost got it from him at one point and didn't really happen. Anyway, we're doing fine here, so thank you guys for being here. Anyway, this is very interesting, how he hypnotized this government worker, and then what happened was that she actually went in and he asked her to go get a classified file, and because under hypnosis you're more suggestive, she was willing to do it. She withdrew it from the file cabinet and brought it back to him and gave it to him. And so this is where, you know, then he brought her out of hypnosis and she had no memory of ever having done that. So then he brought the file to, he knew he was risking court-martial doing it, but he brought it to the military official. He showed him what had happened, and this got really intense because the military official said, wow, I had no idea this was possible. Thank you very much. This is a very intense technology. We need to respect it. And it all started to go covert. And so he said after that, you know, that hypnosis books just pretty much started to disappear from the bookshelves. It all became something that was considered classified, and it all became something that you would say would be research. That's right, Gizmo's mom, you're on the right track there. Talking about M and then the letter that comes after that being K. Yep, this is where all that stuff got started. So it is important to understand that this can be done, and so you want to protect yourself in all the different ways that you can. And be careful about not letting these influences distract or dominate you too much, because it's a workable technology. And so again, as Christ said, Chris Budgeon, be happy in your toil. That's right. Mike G says, hey, David, Boulder, Colorado here. Love it. Remember, no disrespect. I have a sworn oath I will be serving soon. You do know my position, right? I don't know, Firestar, but thank you. I'm glad that you're going to be serving. Any respectful person, Space Cadet Lottie says, would not feel the need to announce their disdain. Anyway, you guys are great. And again, I'm just trying to make you aware of what's out there, that this Cleve Baxter was essentially the first person to bring this out into the open to the military-industrial complex, and this was back in the 1940s. So they've had a long time to have this in their hands, working on it, understanding the potentials, understanding what can be done. And so that's very, very important. The military official was deeply interested in this. And I also talked about how you can be hypnotized, and then according to Cleve Baxter, there are certain cues that can be given to you that will activate post-hypnotic suggestion. So he mentioned the idea of using the pen and tapping the pen on the countertop 3 different times. The three taps could actually bring up something that you were told to do under post-hypnotic suggestion. So what was interesting about this, just as kind of a piece of trivia here, is that it actually was in the movie Get Out by Jordan Peele. It illustrates the same concept. This is a film about hypnosis where essentially there's basically the white people in this movie are very evil, and they're hypnotizing black people, and they're somehow able to kind of avatar into their bodies and enjoy living as a black person. It's kind of an ironic concept, but I thought the movie was, you know, scary but entertaining. But again, the 3 taps of the pen, that was Baxter's example that I used publicly. They used the metaphor of a teacup. And so first you see her stirring the spoon in the cup as she's hypnotizing him, and then she taps on the cup 3 times, which brought him into a state of hypnosis. This is illustrated by this particular poster right here. Again, kind of a disturbing thing, you know, his head being the teacup and everything. Then he's dramatized as falling into an abyss. The 3 taps bring him down into the abyss here. So again, this movie is very exaggerated compared to what really happened. But yes, it does describe the Manchurian idea here. Beverly Adams, you're totally right on that. And You got it there. So she donated $10. Thank you very much. Are there any Canadians in the chat, says Ray Briggs. We are on a learning curve. The moderators say bear with us, but that's cool. We're all good. And so you guys are doing a great job. It's actually, yeah, advertising. That's right. In the 1970s, by the time that happened, you know, we find out that sexuality and death seem to be the things that stimulate the subconscious the most. And so you do see subliminals in advertising. There's people who have done studies on that, about how those two topics in particular seem to really stir up the subconscious and bring it out more. So again, very good idea to be aware that the more that you expose yourself to these types of things, the more that you could be being influenced. Now, do I think that there's post-hypnotic suggestions? Not really. You know, in order to do that, you have to have a very specific type of transit induction. But I would also say, just again, like, definitely make sure that you don't engage in any of these types of scrollings or whatever when you're in a state where you're really tired and sleepy. That's certainly, you know, not going to give you what you want. And, you know, there's a lot of things here that, no, E and Abel, we're not obsessing on connection. We're doing fine. Connection is working great today, actually. So that problem has been completely solved. And we're still at 3,400 viewers after, what are we at now? 2 hours and 16 minutes, so we're doing fine. Scantily clad women sell, guy hunks too. What's in your subconscious? So, yeah, we're learning now that, like, the subconscious is very real, but the subconscious also can be your friend. And so we see that the subconscious will listen to and obey any commands without thinking. That's the big problem that we have here. You don't want to allow yourself to be in a hypnotic state with someone unless you really trust them. And so again, maintaining full consciousness is important, because you can be awake but still programmed, and your conscious mind is unaware of the suggestion. You could walk around, do things, store information, give it back, and have no memory of having done anything. That was a big part of what Cleve Baxter was showing, that he was actually able to get this woman to stand up and walk over, grab the file, bring it back to him. He brought her out of the state with 3 taps of the pen, or however he did it. She had no memory of what was going on. So it's pretty important that we, again, protect our mental health and make sure that you don't let yourself get into too suggestive of a state when you expose yourself to certain things. You don't want to be brainwashed. You're right. Ross Feinstein, I will never allow myself to be hypnotized. I watch what I want, because you can't be brainwashed if you know that you're being brainwashed. I would agree. You know, you just got to maintain that resiliency and not let yourself get too tranced out. Tony Jorgensen, I am blessed by you. You are led by your higher self. The infinite creator is preparing us for trials to come so we can be more precious than anything. Thank you, David. You are awesome. Don't forget to smash the like button for the algorithm. Yes, we're at 2,022 likes. That's darn good. For 3,403 people, that means almost half of you have hit the button. So, yeah, we're doing great here, and life is good. You can be programmed to believe that someone is not there after you wake up. This is one of the things they do in stage hypnosis, where you can't see somebody in the room. They could be standing in front of you right there, but you wouldn't see them. And when they talk, you're not even able to hear what they say. This is, again, stage hypnosis has demonstrated this. And one of the fascinating things that really starts to get into a deeper level of this is how you can see behind people. You can see right through them. There's stories of stage hypnosis where they tell you that you can't see somebody, and then they hold up a sign behind the person, and people look through the body and they can actually read the sign, or they can look at a watch, something like that. And it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing that kind of stuff can happen. So, again, hypnotists held a watch behind someone's back. The person under hypnosis could read the hands. And this led to the mesmerism phenomenon in the early 20th century, where people were being hypnotized and you could ask them questions and they would display omniscient intelligence. So it's not all bad. The subconscious is actually a very good thing to have. And if you can access it through the more conventional ways of meditation and breath work, that's a very much the better way to go about this. Charlie Winner, hello David, I've never been able to be hypnotized. I'm a very present person. I'm very lucid in my dreams as well. Would you say that is a good thing? Sure. Sunflower Heart, thank you David for bringing us this information. $20 donation, thank you very, very much for that. And somebody wrote in, looks like Korean, use of subtitles. Hey there, Charlie Winner, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Charlie. All right. So yes, the subconscious is extremely powerful, and it's just a reminder that when you're thinking about your own conscious mind, it's not just the conscious mind. There's these other layers of your being. And again, meditation really is the golden road to be able to get yourself to, a higher level of awareness. The more that you can meditate, the more that you can have everything work out for you the way that they should be. And it's good. We want to have all these things going down for us so that we're protecting ourselves, we're minimizing our exposure to negative vibrations of different kinds. We talked about what those vibrations are. And you want to be able to live your life with authenticity. This is important. Let's try to get above and beyond these influences that drag us down, and learning how to tune in through meditation, tune into the subconscious is so critical. It can really help you to understand how to live a more authentic life. And your subconscious is also connected to your superconscious. This is something that is illustrated by something you might not have really thought of, which is the Lover's card in the Tarot. And yes, I did give them some stars here, just to, because we are family friendly. What we're seeing here is you have Adam and Eve in the garden, and you have the tree of knowledge of good and evil that Eve is behind. You have the burning bush that Adam is behind. And then you have the angel up there, which I believe is Gabriel. And so what is this really about? This is the idea here, if you look at it again, that this is the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious mind is basically what's being dramatized here. So Adam represents the conscious mind, and he cannot see the angel. He doesn't look at the angel. He's not looking at it up close. He's got it somewhere else. But he's actually looking at Eve. And so Eve is able to actually look at the angel directly. So this is a very interesting point from the Tarot, describing how the divine feminine within, which is Eve, is actually what accesses the higher self directly. In other words, the divine feminine, I believe, is correlated with the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, I don't think we really understand, but yes, under hypnosis, people can be brought to do really interesting things. And somebody just donated, Lisa Dawn Marble donated $10. David, to help you sleep naturally, Cal-Mag-C, calcium gluconate with magnesium carbonate, ascorbic acid powered form, super helps me. I would totally agree, Lisa Dawn. Thank you for that tip. I do actually take a magnesium supplement, and it does seem to help quite a bit. And I'm happy about that. Lucas Mazzaro says, Monroe Institute revealed quite a bunch on altered states, and LFO of LR sync can make a significant change. Look at the 432 Hertz tuning standard getting defaulted to 440 for the convenient reason. Thank you, Lucas. And again, that was a good comment. Thank you for being here, buddy. Just was a little bit scared about why you moderated that one comment before, but we're all good now. So anyway, the divine feminine is, I think the subconscious, the divine feminine are closely related. We're able to connect with the part of ourselves that is beyond space and time and have that higher connection really work for us. Jam X Smith says, during formation of thoughts, the mind creates comments that comment on formed words, can be harnessed in new meanings to timeless grammars of confirmation bias. Confirmation bias, okay. Anyway, I access my subconscious through lucid dreaming, says Valentine Puppy. Charlie Winner, my maiden name is Lamoureux, which means the lover. Very good, very good. So yes, the divine feminine is the part of you that's going to access that higher consciousness. What do you do if you're going to wean yourself off of the digital world? How do you get more in touch with your own divine beacon? How do we have that open up within us? And again, meditation is so critical in this process. Meditation is something that, we all benefit from. And, make sure that you're away from those devices, away from those fields. Get yourself into a nice space and just let yourself breathe deeply and tune into your own higher consciousness, tune into your own divine self. The meditation is probably the single most important tool that we have. And they say that in the Law of One over and over again. And prayer is another form of meditation, praying to your higher self, asking for forgiveness, asking for acceptance of self and others. Very, very important too. We can all do this, and it's a really great thing. Follow your joy. Read a book, says Merle Lowe. No television, says Connie Myers. The kingdom of God and goddesses within, says Ashtara. And I would love to get a life, says Space Cadet Lottie. I'm messing around. Just go out in nature, talk to God and the divine, and drink water. That's right. Meditation prayer is almost useless if it doesn't come from your heart. Oh, there's ads in the comments section. I didn't know that. Ron Emerson is pointing that out. Okay. But anyway, yeah, we got 3,425 viewers. We're still holding true. And so meditation, I can't stress this enough. It really helps you to ground and to be more present with yourself. Go to the water, says S. Gashner. Oscar A. says, I read daily. Without fear, there is no subconscious, says Chenoa. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but anyway. Meditation is never useless, says Jacqueline. I pray to all the saints, says Sarah Love. Is 3i Atlas a psyop, says Bayshore's roof cleaning? It could very well be. The jury is still out, but definitely I would be very wary of what you're being told. I would question it heavily, and we're going to probably talk more about that in a future show. I got to get in there with Avi Loeb's papers and really just dig in and pull out more of what he's got to say. Scarlet Fire says even 1 minute of meditation can help. Yes, I would agree. So I like the guided meditations by Joe Dispenza and Gateway Experience. They're both free on YouTube. That is awesome. Ross Feinstein, 12 years of Tantra Yoga and Dzogchen practice changed my life, freed me from addiction, kept me sane during the depths of my illness. All right. Caressa Ayers is here. All right. Hi, Caressa. Nice to see you. Hi, David. Happy to see you. Much love and a big hug to you, my dear brother. Yeah, I've done talks with her at conferences before. She's a dear friend, so welcome, Caressa. Glad you're here. Would you prefer listening to Gregorian chant or binaural beats to help with the ascension process? I happen to love Gregorian chant, and if you ever find them, Peter Phillips and the Tallis Scholars, to me, that is the best Gregorian chant that you can find. Sunny Sky says, can we get a few more likes up in here? Well, we're at 2168 right now. I'm pretty happy, but yeah, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button. That is awesome. Bella's Patio Garden says, hi, David. I hope you're having a great day. This is awesome. So anyway, lots of good stuff going on here, and I'm happy to be here today with you. We are so blessed to have you here with me. So meditation is a very important key in accessing your higher self, and there are definitely different ways to do it. There's contemplative meditation, and there's also concentrative meditation, and in case you don't know the difference, it's worth pointing out. Contemplative meditation is where you are contemplating on the silence. You're meditating on the silence, you're breathing into the silence, you're trying to just live in that space and embody a consciousness of rest and relaxation and rejuvenation. And so that's a very, very nice thing to do, to be able to just contemplate and let yourself feel very blissed out, very serene, and just experience that joy that is available to you in the present moment. It's a very, very critical thing, something we all want to do. And then at the same time, as we're seeing here, we also have concentrative meditation. Now, what's the difference? Concentrative meditation is where you concentrate upon a particular symbol or a particular practice or a particular exercise. It might be your breathing. You might concentrate on following your heart rate. You breathe in for 6 heartbeats, hold it for 3, exhale for 6 heartbeats, hold it out for 3 heartbeats. If that's too intense and you can't do that, you might want to try 2 heartbeats of holding and then 4 of breathing in, 2 heartbeats holding it in, 4 of breathing out, 2 heartbeats of holding it out. It's up to you how you want to do it. But concentrative meditation also could involve things like a visual image. They talk about this in Law of One. You could, for example, visualize a circle. If you're a Christian, you can visualize the cross. And the idea is that you want to try to hold on to your concentrated vision for as long as you can without losing track of the image. This is a very important shamanic technique. It's a big part of the Carlos Castaneda teachings. If you read the Castaneda books, and again, there's probably some distortion in there, but I do believe he was educated by a real shaman, Don Juan. And Don Juan advised him to hold on to the image of your own body. So like being able to project your body to a foreign location, when you get into ascended abilities, you know, it's pretty amazing. So it's Lucas Mazzaro says, it's awesome to help on this amazing platform to build great energy collectively. I appreciate having this content you've been putting out all these years, man. Thank you, Lucas. I guess since, you know, you've been a good guy, we'll give you back the power again for now. I'm sorry about that before. It looks like you really did only have that as the one thing with the all caps. But, you know, thank you for what you said here, and I'm glad that you can help us. Davy Joe Weaver, David is an artisan. I find when I'm deep in my creativity, I'm in a state of meditation. What do you think? Yes, that can happen. So you definitely can be more creative that way. In the state of meditation, it's a very good thing. Hello, David. I pray your day is awesome, says Monica Richen. Well, we're glad that you're here. So Ray Briggs says I should meditate more often. It's a good idea. And anyway, I'm happy that you guys are all with me now. It's a great thing to do this. The contemplative meditation, again, is more like just you're breathing and you're not really focusing on any one thing, whereas concentrative meditation can really get you to a higher level. And it's a more advanced discipline where you're just focusing on a particular form. And so the Tibetans would do this with the tigli. That's the shape of the A, the vowel A in their Sanskrit alphabet is the tigli. And so, you know, the tigli is the sound ah, and they would visualize that, meditate on that, and it's a good thing. You know, I'm noticing we're getting a lot less negative comments now because people are aware that we have a great, robust meditation team. Lucas Mazzaro, you know, I'm going to keep you on, and I hope that we can, you know, that everything is respectful, but you seem to be doing a good job now, so I gave you back your privileges for the moment. We're just going to try to keep sure that everybody's got, you know, everybody's got what they need here. We're all trying to do the right thing. And wow, that's interesting. I didn't notice that. I'm clipping out here. I'm trying to fix that. Okay, good to know. Sorry, everybody. A little bit more distraction from dear old daddy. But life is good. We keep it real. We keep you guys in the loop of everything that's happening in my world because it's all part of what we deal with. Oh, I see what's happening there. Never mind. Okay. So anyway, let me see what somebody... Yeah, we had retracted messages. Sometimes that's done automatically. That's done by the algorithm. That's not from our moderators per se. Everybody is on timeout, LOL. Okay. Set an alarm. Chris G says, wake up early so you have time to meditate. It's good. You know, we're all learning how to do these things together, and you guys are hanging out with me. We're a family. So funny. 2 different things about Daddy showed up at the same time. And Angry Daddy Meditation, and there's the other one. Yep, yeah, Go Daddy. So that was Not Sure and GW Productions, back to back. No, we're all good. I only want to see some messages in the chat said no one ever. Why isn't all messages the default option? I don't know. Anyway. When you focus on your subconscious, when you focus on, you know, how to meditate, you're going to be able to access the subconscious mind and the superconscious mind. Meditation is the golden road to getting you there. If there was one message that I'm really going to leave you with today from this whole session that we've been doing, it is how you can access your higher self more than ever before through meditation. That is, again, it's very simple, and I get it. These are simple spiritual teachings. But man, you know, I really have had my eyes opened about the social media and about the use of devices and how much do you want to use them and how much exposure do you want to have. You got to be really, really careful with this stuff because, again, your subconscious is very important to you. And David, I've been listening to you often since the mid-90s. Meditate by yourself with no music. This is nonsense. I don't know why you'd say that, but anyway. Seems mods can have the comments show if they are fine and reasonable, says Ross Feinstein. I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, where are all the earlier messages? I don't know. They're there. They're all there. They should be there at least. But I changed my own view so that I can see the moderation activity. And I hope that didn't delete old comments. It shouldn't have. But now I get to see the moderation activity myself, whereas before I didn't. That's all. Well, that comment came up. Thank you, Crazy NDA Coconut. If you want to read that one, you can. It's a promotion, but, you know, I appreciate the donation either way. Great to see you looking much, much like your younger self. Yeah, I mean, you want to see how much weight I've actually lost? This is freaking crazy. Let me actually show you this. We'll do it on the wide shot here, but if I take the belt out and then put the pants out to how far they can go, man, look at this. Look at how far my pants are going out now. I probably went from like a 34 waist down to a 31. See that? It's a whole lot of change. It's like, oh my God, David is dying on stage. He just stood up and showed you his pants. What the heck is he doing? Yeah, I don't even have pants that fit anymore because I've lost so much weight. And yeah, you're looking good. Your body mass index is it's true. I mean, I've literally compromising shot. It's funny. Devices are so addictive. Look at all the addicts. I think it's time to stop dieting. Well, I'm not really dieting, but yeah, I am going to need to invest in more clothes and better wardrobe. Don't lose too much weight. Well, it is something that's happening. You know, I'm definitely going through a very intense period of stress right now in my life, but you know, I'm definitely working out and eating healthy, and you know, we've had a real shift here in the local town. We had our shopping plaza burned down, and that was a very sad thing. And you know, the store that I shop at, they don't have very much that's organic. I'm very, very big on eating organic. I'm very, very big on not eating conventional. Let's keep the language careful in here. We don't want David's channel affected. That's a good idea. That was Sunny Skies said that. I don't know. Did we have any? Did somebody say that we lost the old comments? I hope we didn't. They should be able to be there from the beginning. I would imagine that they are. But I don't know. Anyway, when you go back and watch it, there should be a live comment feed that shows up through the whole thing. But Rawhide says, you do appear distracted. Well, it's, you know, I mean, we're all, this is community, man. I'm connecting with you as a community. We're living through this together. We're doing our process together. We're going to do a 3-hour show. That's the whole idea. And yes, I've had my challenges. We had our shopping plaza burned down. We've had high winds. I had high winds the other day. The comments are still there. You're just not able to access all of them right now. That's interesting. Okay, well, the divine bacon. Somebody brought that up again. You don't see the comments once the show ends. You only see comments on the live feed. Well, that's not true. You can go back and replay the comments. As far as I know, you always have been able to. So, again, where's Monica the Moose? We haven't seen Monica in a while. Sage Marie Sprenger says, I had a near-death experience in May. I dropped a bunch of baggage mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Beverly Adams says, reminder, this is David's show. That's right. Same experience. I can't replay the comments, says Ross Feinstein. I didn't know that. Old comments are coming back in chunks. Ross Feinstein says, I'm being dropped 5 times per show. Okay, well, I didn't know that. It doesn't replay the live chat comments once the live is over. I did not know that. Or no, Cosmos Baby says they always appear in the replay. Okay, well, we have differences of opinion on that. That's fine. I hope that they show up in the replay. That would really be important. But you can't take any more of this doom and gloom. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. Atlas is us 200 years in the future coming back to secure our ascension. Please meditate. This will come to you too. Sending you much love. Oh, you're just talking about Atlas. Anyway, I see comments on my replays every time. Yeah, you have the choice, I believe, to turn them on or off. And, you know, I think that should be fine. So, yeah, what is doom and gloom? Well, we're not being doom and gloom here. We're focusing on, again, accessing your higher self. This is critical to the ascension process. Contemplative and concentrative meditation. You learn not to tune out background noise around you. This is one of the things that, for me, is a very important exercise that I've talked about before. You learn how to actually listen in a way where you're not tuning out the background. And I actually kind of went too far with this to some degree. If you always tune out the background noise, then that also opens you up to more of your subconscious influences. And you got to be really careful about that. So what I like to do is to try to reduce distraction as much as possible. And that means I don't leave something on in the background. It's like a person's voice talking or something while I'm having another conversation at the same time. Now, you can't avoid that. If you go to a restaurant or if you're somewhere out in public, that's going to happen. It's inevitable. But like when you're home, I really highly advise that you not have background noise going on. You try to just keep your focus limited. If you're going to have a television running, you should be watching it. If you're going to have music playing, I would recommend listening to the music. And, you know, learning to not divide your attention is one of these really, really critical skills that I've been living with for a long time, so that therefore, when there is background noise going on, I am to some degree aware of it. This really helps actually train you to how to get more in tune with your higher self, more in tune with your subconscious, more in tune with the parts of your being that are communicating all the time. And 3i Atlas is a cosmic weed dispensary, somebody says. Uh-oh, these comments are forever, says Vega 1. They should be. I'm taking notes from David on your technical suggestions. Now on with the show. Take a walk in nature. All is well. Everybody calm down. Teresa Hart says this is amazing. So yeah, I think it's very important to make sure that you don't tune out the background noise. That's really critical skill. And Zazen meditation, Forever Unlimited. Yes, that's a good one too. I focus inside, says Chris G. The outside is such a distraction. I have no problem going within. On some lives, it says comments are disabled. Do you have to switch the chat on for replay? Yes, you do. You should be able to do that. Anyway, you tune out the distraction and you get more in tune with your higher self. That's a very important practice. I also like to have one conversation while I'm listening to another. Believe it or not, that's a practice that actually can get you somewhere, where you're talking to one person, maybe you're in a restaurant, and you also listen to the conversation that's next to you at the same time. You can learn how to become more psychic that way. You can learn how to tune into the still small voice that is within you. Yes, there are comments on replay. You can turn it off or on. It usually says show the chat replay. You click on that and you're good. That's what I do. Darlene Montoya, thank you very much for that. Disassociating. Catch yourself before it happens. Okay. So you saw Wilcock down at Clonate, huh? That's funny. I don't know what that's about. Comments depends on which YouTube layout you're using. That's probably true. Some YouTube layouts would not give you the comments, others would. David, why does your hair look so stupid? I'm sorry if you think my hair looks stupid. I just, you know, whatever. That's obviously a troll, and somebody just got that one, so timed out for 10 seconds. Okay, well, I don't have a car right now, so I haven't been able to go get a haircut. That's part of the bottom line. My car has all been up in the air. It's been very, very frustrating. I think David's hair looks fine. Nice to know David is reading our comments. Angry Daddy does care about us, says Prince Royal. Dang, you guys are fast. LOL, says Ray Briggs. Yeah, I guess you got to just get to the same moment to where I am so that it's happening in real time. I like your hair. It's very becoming. Your hair looks fine, loves, says Carla Gibbler. Yeah, it's just trolls, you know, but we've got moderators now. Patty Cakes says, what's up with these massive things over the San Joaquin Valley in California for the last week? It's really triggering me. I'm not sure about that, but we love your hair. Ignore the trolls and go on. You look great. What's wrong with people? Your hair looks fine. Your hair is beautiful. Samantha Richards says, I've got a car for you. That would be great. You look just right with how your hair is. Anyway, you look fine, David. So we're definitely going through, you know, the whole show is about meditation. That's right. I've been watching you since the salamanders back in the day. Linda says, appreciate you. That was a donation. Thank you very much. Trolls, leave David alone ASAP. Right. They say the dumbest things. You smell nice too, and your hair is awesome. Your hair is beautiful. 90% of men would dream of having your angelic locks. So yeah, it's a good time to be alive here. And again, tuning out the background noise is not something you really want to learn to do too much. I like to be able to listen to it. That's a very important skill. Having one conversation while listening to another, very, very important. Another thing that I would recommend that you do is to stay motionless when you first get up in the morning. I love to lie in bed. And so, you know, when you lie in bed and you just close your eyes and you meditate and you stay in that space, you can get really positive stuff happening. And, you know, it's a good thing. My hair is a little wild. Sometimes I can make it better by doing stuff like this and put a little water in there, keep it curly. But yeah, we've had some really wild stuff going down with, you know, how it can be done. And so we gotta be in good shape here. And please don't use profanity in the chat. Somebody just did that. That's all that was about. We don't want to put the profane language out there. Do any food stores in Boulder carry organic? Absolutely. But, you know, up here where I am in the mountains, it's a lot harder to get. And so the only organic meat that's available to me right now is chicken and beef. And also, because of the tariffs, the bison steaks are now way too expensive. I used to be able to get bison steaks for like, I don't know, you could get them as low as maybe $13, but now they're like $26. They've literally like doubled in price. And so it's just prohibitively expensive. And so as a result, most of what I'm eating now is either chicken or ground beef, and I just kind of alternate between the two. I have a very, very simplistic diet, very Spartan diet. And, you know, we're hoping that we're going to be able to do a paid launch in the future because I do need to raise money, but we have some great stuff with Stavati that's right around the corner that should help us enormously. And, you know, I'm happy about that. So life is good. And, you know, I've had a very restrictive diet and I don't eat a whole lot lately. And so that's why I feel, you know, oh, Spencer Hall's email got blocked. He sent it to you and he didn't get a response. Okay, we'll definitely check in on that. I'll figure out what's going on here. Is there anything you can do to help to remember your dreams? It's frustrating not to remember them when you wake up. Yeah, I would say again, you know, it's very important about the diet. It's very important about EMF, you know, and making sure that you're like keeping yourself clean as much as you can on that front. I really do encourage everybody to focus on those principles and spending enough time in bed, spending enough time asleep, waking up slowly. Don't move when you first get up in the morning. He who spoke about your hair definitely envies you. Try TVP with portobello. It's like beef. Textured vegetable protein? I don't know. Anyway, have you felt any change from the 3-eye atlas and solar flares? I don't really Not necessarily, no. But Dave's bacon and fireworks stand can replace the old market. What's the tariff got to do with this? Well, the thing is that most of the bison comes in from Canada, and so the tariff has been placed on all Canadian imports of goods, which has caused the price to really skyrocket, and it's become completely unreachable with my current budget to actually eat the way that I used to eat. It used to be a very simple diet. I always had buffalo steak. Now I can't do that because it's just it's so expensive. It's just really intense. You can't do $26 a night. Dear David, we've been watching your live stream for many years. We love the way you are. God bless you. Thank you, Julia. Journaling and setting an intention to remember your dream helps. That's a very important point. You want to have your computer in suspend mode. I like to have a laptop in suspend mode over at a desk near my bed. I lie down there in bed, and I try to remember 3 distinct points from the dream if I can. 3 distinct data points, 3 things that the dream actually had in it that I can now bring back and bring out to my conscious mind and say, okay, I remember that it said that. I remember that it said that. I remember that it said that. And that way, the 5-hour shows are the best, says Kiki. I love the interaction. It's like the old days. Well, I'm glad that you're here. We're definitely not going to do 5 hours, but we are doing 3 hours. Look up Bearded Butchers as an example of a U.S. farm that sells bison steak. Yeah, I mean, Great Range is here in Colorado. Their prices are lower, but the grocery store up where I am doesn't carry that particular brand. So, again, wake up in the morning, don't move around, stay still, try to remember 3 distinct points of what you had in your dream that you can bring back. And this will then carry over to your laptop where you get up, you open up the laptop, and you start writing down the thoughts that you were having. And whatever those thoughts are, you just get them down as quick as you can without analysis. That's a really, really important point. And you got to commit to it. You got to do it every day. And the more that you do it, the better it's going to work out for you. David Rivers says, David, all is well. Thank you for your commitment to humanity. Decades now together with your guidance and research. Another David here, born in the New York State Capital Region. All right. I've been here since the days of Project Camelot. I rewatched your meditation from the last video. It was so good, says Daryl Pass. Well, yeah, I mean, I personally have the blood type situation where I have to eat meat. I know some of you guys are vegetarian. That's okay. If that's what you want to do, it's fine. Mystic Voyager 000 says, thank you, David. You're my favorite steward that is out there right now updating us. You are so grounded. You see things in many different perspectives with a huge heart. Fasting can be good. I mean, I don't usually end up doing it. It's just kind of happening to me because of the diet that I'm on right now. But, I try to eat enough. And it's just difficult, We just have supply chain issues consistently with our food and that kind of thing. So yeah, you want to stay motionless when you first wake up in the morning. And another important practice is to feel light as a feather, stiff as a board. You keep meditating. Once you wake up in the morning, you want to meditate on that concept of light as a feather, stiff as a board. And so you're just feeling yourself being very, very light, like you could drift away, but then you also want to feel like your body can't move. I mean, you don't want to be able to open your eyes. You get this eyelid locking reflex. Keeps your eyes closed. And that's actually a really good thing. So, Gary Hyder music, somebody, I'm not sure that was really a negative hater comment. He's been pretty good. But anyway, that did happen. So, somebody wants me to do Angry Daddy. All right. Now, son, I don't know what the hell you're saying. You think that you can wake up in the morning and remember all these crazy dreams? Well, as if that was so important, son. What's more important is that you need to get a job, son. You don't have enough money. You got to get your ass out there on the road with a paper and pen in hand. You need to start canvassing, going house to house, door to door. You can just ask people for money, son. Go out there and put yourself on the street and find a gosh darn job, because I'll tell you what, I've had it with you not being able to be responsible enough. If you're going to pull your weight in this family, You need to step up or ship the hell out of here, son, because I have had it. Woo! Oh, yeah. A little bit of Angry Daddy flavor for you. Definitely had those years where my parents wanted me to get a job. And it's great to be here, you know. Happy to be here. Seems like anytime somebody says daddy, it gets held for review. That's funny, but true. And so why only bison, not local grass-fed beef? Well, you can have grass-fed beef too. It's just I think the bison is better. 7 Geometric Thought Forms, I squeaked out a $5 donation from him. Once you move your spine in the morning is when you begin to lose your dream recall. He blocked my LOL. He blocked my main channel, Angry Daddy did. Anyway, try Angry Mama. Well, we're not going to do an Angry Mama. I don't want to get her mad. But so these are principles that really can carry you a long way. You know, when you learn to tune into your higher self, you're becoming part of this ascension process. And the prophecies are so amazing. And somebody said, I love Angry Daddy, and then that got held for review. So that's interesting. I see you gaining lots of energy being around all of us, says Jacqueline. That's right. Petition to start selling Angry Daddy t-shirts. Well, we might actually have that as a product in the future. So you got to be aware of where your limitations are. And if you don't spend enough time meditating, you're definitely not going to be getting the full benefit of what that can really offer you. So light as a feather, stiff as a board is a really important technique. Also, mind awake, body asleep is another way that they call that. The more that you do it, the easier it gets. And then once you're in that state, what I advise is to listen to your background noise without analyzing. This is a very important part of meditation. People think that in meditation, you're supposed to eliminate all your thoughts. That's not really true. You're actually not eliminating the thoughts as much as you're allowing them to pass through you, and you observe them without being attached to them. These are critical concepts. And chat has a slow mode and it restricts comments if you're too fast. I found out, LOL, says Darlene Montoya. That's right. We had trolls who were hitting us with comments so fast, so I don't believe you can do more than 60 once every 60 seconds. And if you try to go fast than that, it won't let you do that. I think that's what we've got it set for right now. And that also has helped a lot with the trolling. Jacqueline says, when I write poetry, it's a form of meditation for me. Well, so yeah, we want to be able to keep that focus, listen to the background noise in your mind without analysis. When you wake up in the morning, that's a critical practice. It will get you a long way. And I also notice visual images and emotional impressions. A lot of times what I get in terms of psychic data is I get a visual image that is paired with an emotional impression, and those two things combine together, and they seem to work really well that way. So that's a very important practice. John Chaguruka says, great job, David. This is my first time here. Creating lyrics and music is also great meditation, says Gary Hyder Music. I agree with you. I had an amazing experience with your meditation where you had everybody lift their finger several times. We can do that. We'll actually do that now, the finger anchoring. So as you tune in, as you're deep in meditation, you're first waking up in the morning, you listen to the background noise without analyzing it, and you also want to notice where the sounds are coming from in 3D space. You might notice that there are sounds behind you, sounds in front of you, sounds off to the right, the left, up, down. They can be very, very specific. And, this is actually how you're getting psychic information. So when you start to decrease your exposure to these fields, you start to decrease your diet of online activity, you spend time meditating, you will start to notice these things, and that is how the benevolent way to access your subconscious and superconscious mind can happen. And we're happy about that. So, we're taking stock of everybody's comments here. I'm looking at that. And I'm really, really glad that you guys are interacting with me. This is wonderful. Midnight Mark is on it, man. He is on it. So some of you guys are able to stay right up to the present, and that's good. So thank you very much for that. We're definitely working as much as we can. Today's news. Your face and your neck look very good. No, I wouldn't eat pork at all. That's another thing. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world. There's a lot of interesting things that are going on. But again, the main focus I wanted to have today is on your divine beacon, your connection to your higher self. We're trying to do a spiritual show, you know, and Darlene says she loves the interaction with the chat. Thank you very much. We're still holding really true. We got 3,115 concurrent viewers. That's awesome. Thank you guys for being here. We're at the 3-hour mark right now. So you want to note where the sounds are coming from in 3D space. Also, the principle of climbing up the ladder. You can go down into a deep trance, get a deep piece of data, then go up the ladder to where you can record it, and you're now in a lighter trance state. And I recommend that if you're going to do that, that you record it out loud. You can turn on a recording device and get yourself into that state where you can speak out what you're seeing and what you're hearing, and then go back down in, meditate more deeply, breathe in deeply. You'll get more access that way. You go back and forth, back and forth. Mystic Voyager just donated. I had a dream of flying in New Mexico. A Saturn-looking titanium UFO ship wanted to coax me into a spiral cloud. It looked like a vortex. Very interesting. Thank you, David's Mod Force initiated. I got to run. I'll tune back later, says Cameron Clapp. We're almost done here, but, you know. So there's a lot of interesting things getting ready to happen in the world, and I do believe that the plan is moving forward. I do believe we're going to see more of that happening. And I'm trying to give you practical tools right now that you can use to help access meditation and your higher self and all that kind of stuff, because I think this is really important. A lot of us have been suffering. We've been going through hell. I know that I certainly have been. It's definitely a big part of my life right now is just working through grief and pain. And I'm doing the best I can, folks. It's hard. And I apologize if I'm not the same person I always was, but you know, we're working on this all at the same time. We're doing everything together. No, it's the reason I'm skinny. That somebody, anyway, that was a troll. So yeah, it's been an intense challenge. It's hard to live out here in the winter. I'm doing it this year sober. The sobriety has been good for me. It's been very, very helpful. And you want to climb up and down the ladder to get those pieces of data, as I was saying, and you anchor deeper hypnotic states to your finger. That's what we were just talking about, man. It's the same thing. So the finger principle is very interesting, where you want to lift up your finger, and then you breathe out, and as you exhale, you let your finger drop. And you breathe in again, lift up your finger, and then as you exhale, you let it drop again. And as you let your finger drop, you imagine that like a droplet of water is happening, and you're splashing down into a big pool. And you feel yourself dropping and lowering down through the water. This can really do an amazing amount of work for you in terms of bringing you into that higher consciousness state. And that's called anchoring. That's one of the things it's called. And, you know, it's very, very good. So Scarlet Fire says, I too am substance-free for years. I want to improve my brain. Lungs hold grief. Maybe that's why you're having a hard time breathing. No, my breathing is okay. Bella's Patio Garden, there's so many things I'm struggling with, always in November. So is smoked salmon good, or wild sockeye is my favorite? None of us are the same, even if your family says you never change. I would be wary of smoked food. I think it can have a lot of, you know, negative effects if you eat it too much. I'd have it maybe once in a while, but not all the time. Julia says, I was not able to go on your live streams lately. Thank you, David, as possible today. Blessings to your family. Parents are the most honest to their children because they love them. Thank you, David, for one of the first videos I saw on the pineal gland and helping me on my pineal gland activation journey. Woo! Thank you, David, for super 98% family-friendly content. Alex says that. Well, that's what we're doing. So, yes, it's grief. I'm so sorry, David. Yeah, it's been hard. I mean, I'm not going to kid you. I've had a really hard time, but I'm working through it, and I'm doing the best I can. And being here with you is very important. This is my job, so I need to show up even if I'm having a rough week. And it's been tough, you know. It's not easy to do this It's not easy to get this all together and have everything flowing and working in conjunction, but we're doing the best we can. So I'm really happy that you guys were here with me this week, and I'm really happy that we got a chance to be together. And I want you to always focus on the fact that this is all leading towards a beautiful reconciliation with nature. We're all moving towards an ascension experience. We're all moving towards something that I believe is going to transform the world in every possible way. It's an exciting time to be alive. It's a thoroughly invigorating time to be alive. It's a time where we can all share in each other's glory and each other's blessings, in the work that we have together, tuning into that divine beacon, finding that hope that can come from outside yourself. So important that you spend that time meditating, that you spend that time breathing, analyzing and looking at your dreams. We're going to get more into these higher self techniques. This is definitely not just something we're going to blow through all in 1 week. This is a prolonged process, but I'm here with you now, and we're getting ready to do our closing meditation here. We've been with you on the air for over 3 hours. It's a great thing to do, and I'm happy to be around. So, why are you sad, says Doc Sorebones? Well, you know, there's a lot of different reasons, but Ross Feinstein says, no, don't stop. And then I got a heart icon. Atlas, hip, hip, hooray. Yeah, so we're definitely seeing a lot of movement on the front of the Alliance. And Jim Garrigus says, if moderators are for multiple shows, I would volunteer. Well, he's another loyal supporter, so I think we can safely make Jim Garrigus a moderator as well. I certainly am very familiar with you. So now we got some of our top names out there. You should look into start manifesting abundance with the law of one, make it a series for all of us. That's one of the things we could do. Yes, so let me see what else we have here. If there's anything that we can look at here. Oh yeah, we got some really great stuff. We got some really great stuff we can talk about in the future. So let's see. Where are we going right now? We'll go down here. So I want you to remember what you have. I want you to remember what you are. I want you to remember that your soul is eternal and pure and clean, and that we are, learning how to become more adaptive through accessing our higher self. This is an ongoing discussion. There's a lot that we can do with this. We're just getting started. And let's talk about the Alliance a little bit. What we're seeing right now is definitely a progressive step in the right direction. There's a big standoff going on. I don't know where that's going to go or how it's going to end. It's obviously really scary, the big standoff, but people need to be brought to the precipice. They need to be brought through grief and pain and anger to start to see the truth. And I think, again, yes, Charlie Kirk was a very interesting and major change in the world. There's a discussion going on here about Ozempic. Smash the like button before the meditation. What about New York City? Can it be saved? Well, differences of opinion on what's going on there. And the Boogosphere, I've been reading about that a little bit. Dr. Greer was talking about that yesterday. He wrote a paper on it. And Julia in Georgia just donated $50 and says, just because, thanks for being here and doing what you do. Yes, your donations are very, very important. So, it's taking more time than I thought it would, but I think that we're going to see the events unfolding. Disclosure is happening. The Age of Disclosure film is coming out pretty soon. They're doing a major, major marketing rollout for that right now. We're hearing more and more talk about UFOs out in the open, in the mainstream media. It's very, very intense, and I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about what's happening. So definitely I expect major awakenings to follow, major things coming up in the future that we haven't already seen. And 3DD Gemini says, where can I send you my UFO videos? Well, again, my former website, divinecosmos.com, would be one good place to go. And you can also, post them on Twitter, I guess, if you want to do that, or X. That's where I mostly have been participating, is on X. So it's great, you know. I hope humanity rises to the next level. So do I. That's an interesting one. Somebody want to get that one? Anyway, David asked for marketers to help you sell your inventory. We can do that. So let's just remove that one. Are we going to get free energy plans soon? The Vugosphere is not proof of ETs, other civilizations. I don't know what it is. It's a bit pissing me off. I'm not really sure what to do about the Vugosphere yet. I'm not, you know, it's all been kind of spoon-fed, and I hope that it's true. It sounds awesome, but I'm just not really sure. And it's interesting. I mean, I've seen stuff like this come out before. When these kind of things happen, I'm not always sure that it's the real thing or not. David must be in love. No, there's no love in my life right now. There's nothing like that going on. I'm just surviving through another winter here with high winds and everything else. Will the event or reset be before the U.S.'s 250th birthday? Maybe, who knows? But it's definitely coming into view. They're just, it's you know, we're dealing with the real world. You know, these things don't necessarily happen right on a schedule. It takes time and it takes patience, and we're all working through that together. Raylene Leg has to go to yoga class. I'll catch up on your reply. Thank you, David. You're fun to hang out with on Sunday. Well, that's good. All right, so I think what we're going to do now is we're going to focus on getting us into a greater meditation here. We've talked about a lot of stuff today that's really cool, and I have plenty of slides left that we can work on for later shows. It's just a question of how many do I get through at any particular time, but you know, we work on it. So again, let's just talk a little bit about ascension first. Let's say that, you know, all the things that are happening are bringing us towards this reunification with our higher Christ consciousness. And I think that's really, really important that we focus on that. Focus on how you can reduce distractions, amplify the love, spend more time meditating, tune into your higher self. We'll have a lot more to say on that as time goes on. Valeria Negrito just donated, sending love and positive vibes. No need to read out loud, just know it. Well, I did anyway. I hope the administration will eliminate IRS corruption. They said they would. Well, let's be hopeful for that. You can't rush a masterpiece. Thank you. And stay in Colorado, David. We're in a toroidal energy zone. All right. So this is all good, and you guys have been very helpful with me today. I'm really glad that we were able to share this time together. And it's really nice to be here with you. And, you know, we're doing good work, man. This is great. Darlene says the moderators are doing a great job. I agree. I didn't even realize I could do this, but we just take the people who are, you know, the most interested in participating, and we bring them in. How's my hair doing? It's pretty frizzy over here. Right there, that area is pretty frizzy. We'll tighten that up a bit. Love and blessings to you, David, says the goats. Organic is not really organic. Well, you got to do the best you can, you know. And this is an ascension. You become ascended. You experience total oneness. Your final lifetime, you're back at home with God, and then you become the Holy Spirit. Midnight Mark says, thank you, Wilcock. Don't forget to feed your turkeys. Why are you not bald? Okay, well, we've had fun. We've hung out for a while. We're now hovering around 3,000 views. So let's try to do a meditation here. I hope to see you next Sunday too. I really do. It really depends on, you know, my being able to get through the week without all these distractions and upsets, but we're working on it. Definitely this is a fun channel, says Scarlet Fire. That's good. The Vugosphere is very interesting. It's an opposite technology to ours. A lot of the descriptions of the ETs and their tech doesn't use any wiring. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm curious to see some scientific data that could verify this. I'm open-minded, and I just wish that we could have more of that. I wish I could spend weeks, months, and many days with you, says Marcia Turley. Thank you for another great session. I really hope to see you next Sunday, too. This is fun. Thank you very much. Yes, so love you, David, says Humble Pie. If the creek don't rise, says Saber McKnight. Congratulations to all of us for surviving another week. All right, you guys want to do some meditation? You think you can handle that? You ready to expand your mind a little bit? Let's see what we can do here. So we'll go to the really, really close-up shot. This is like, now you can really see the frizz in my hair. Let's give it a little bit more right at the end. Just gas it up there. Give it a little bit more. How does that look? That was pretty good, huh? Okay. Well, Stefania just donated $50. Thank you very much, Stefania. So anyway, here we go. Let's close your eyes now. Put both feet flat on the floor. Take a nice deep breath. If any advertisements come up, you can just feel free to hit the skip button whenever they happen. And just envisioning now this peaceful, radiant consciousness flowing through your body, light as a feather, stiff as a board, mind awake and body asleep. Drifting into the stillness, finding the peace that is available in this moment. Envisioning how you can be protecting yourself, the techniques we talked about this week, lowering your exposure, amplifying your positivity, spending time in deep contemplative meditation. For it is so wonderful to find that wellspring of peace within yourself, to tune in deeply, to meditate. I honestly never expected I'd be doing a show this weekend based on the difficulties I had. This is David speaking. But hey, we made it. We're here. We did it together. And life is so positive now. It's so happy. As you find that attunement, you find that wisdom, you listen to the still small voice, and you allow it to expand and grow. We're trying our best now to just feel that stillness, feel that emptiness flowing through us. Letting yourself be ever more confident in the glory of just seeking the peace that is available inside of you. It doesn't require any elaborate preparations. It's easy. And it's rewarding. And you get to become more than you ever thought possible. Expanding your own definitions of what it means to be a human, what it means to be alive, helping you feel safe. Because right now in this moment with me, you are safe. We are co-creating together a space of healing, space of happiness, space of becoming. And we're living in a glorious reunion with our higher selves. Breathing through the difficulties that might have left us behind before, finding out what it really takes to get to that next level. Allowing the cosmic architecture of the cosmos to be alive and well inside of ourselves. Feeling the remembrance of our own true soul, the glory of our higher nature. We may have been blinded by events in our lives. At times we may not see clearly what is in store for us, but that divine beacon shines forth as a glorious light, calling us into the higher realms, calling us into our own higher consciousness, bringing us through decades of learning in flashes that go through the mind, trickles of consciousness that ever last beyond the scope of any physical form. The remembrance of our true selves, the remembrance of our true nature, all of that and more is available to us in this moment as we find such peace. We find such knowingness. Thanking you guys now. We had 2 donations come in. I appreciate that. Mark and Pramila, thank you very much. So much is going on right now. So many things to be grateful for. Tuning into that loving resonance. Tuning into that enjoyment, the glory of the Christ consciousness that is there as a pulsing stream, moving through each experience in snapshots, one after the other, allowing us to redefine ourselves, to become more than we ever thought possible. This is the promise. As I do these things, so shall you do them, and greater things. For I go unto my Father, Mother, God. We're so happy to have this presence always available to us. We remember how easy it is to tune in, to feel that love, to feel that resplendent joy, that grace, that beauty, that total resiliency that allows us to just keep on moving forward, to keep on living our lives one step at a time with ease and flow and grace and beauty. How we can be fully present in this moment, how we can actualize our own guidance and rise to a level that we never thought before possible. Learning about the subconscious, making sure that we protect ourselves from being influenced, not to get too sleepy when you expose yourself to things that could be implanting suggestions. These are all important. All we want now is the positive. We're focusing on love. We're focusing on peace. Focusing on our own tranquility. Focusing on how we can be more loving to ourselves, more forgiving to ourselves, more loving and forgiving to others. To look at the view of reality with a new eye, casting our glance above and beyond the problems that once seemed so insurmountable, looking to those things that no longer have to define us, going beyond the limitations that we once imposed upon ourselves, and feeling great about how we have expanded our own definitions. And we are becoming so much more than we ever thought we could be. This is all part of unfolding into that new consciousness, unfolding into that higher self, living that promised land existence, where we move through the difficulties to the promised land, that citadel of the self that lives within us at all times. I want you to think about how deeply relaxed you are right now. I want you to think about how much it affects all of us. When you are smiling, when you are happy, you are living in that glorious remembrance of who you really are and what you really are, and you can approach that oneness, approach it with strength, with authority, with might, and seeing what's really going on, how you can get beyond the limits of what you once were, how you can expand your own definitions for yourself and for others. Thanking ourselves so much for all of these great gifts that we give. Thanking ourselves for all of the glories of this moment. And arising, feeling light as a feather, stiff as a board, feeling that consciousness changing, unfolding, redefining who we are, who we thought we were, where we are going, where is it taking us, enjoying our time together, enjoying this moment to co-create a healing and teaching space. It doesn't take very much to do it. It just takes showing up and providing the time and the commitment to discuss the things that really matter as we move into the deeper and deeper layers of our own being. There's always time to be able to think through the problems. It's never too late. You always have a chance to open up your heart, to open up your mind, to redefine what you thought was wrong, to bring it back into the now, to let yourself see for the first time who and what you really are. You are a divine, perfect being. You are blessed with so much abundance. There is so much inside you that just needs to come out and be seen by others and be embraced for what you are, embracing your potential, embracing your true self, embracing what really is going on that keeps you healthy and sane in these turbulent times. Rising up through those layers of the self, feeling more and more relaxed and confident as you do it. This pure, total relaxation that just waves over you. It's so wonderful. All these gifts that you have to share, all these things that are yours, available for the giving. It's truly, truly remarkable, isn't it? When you think about what you can do and how far you can go and what is really possible when you no longer are bound by limitation and you allow yourself to be who you really are. Thinking this through, thinking it all through for your own glorification in Christ, in what the Hebrews would call Hashem, in what the Hindus would call Brahma, in what Muslims would call Allah. Yes, on some levels, I do believe we all share certain similarities. There are differences, of course, but this concept of a one infinite creator, this concept of there being some divine principle, I choose to call it Christ, and I choose to identify with Jesus as well. And that, for me, gives me peace and comfort. And I also think that we can embrace the fact that there is something there that goes beyond any stricture of religion. There's something that embodies and holds us up in the light, something that gives us hope, something that gives us definition, something that gives us purpose, something that carries us through the greatest difficulties we are ever going to face. And we can know that is there. We can live in that presence. We can be grateful for what it shares with us, for all the joys that we have, all the love that we share with others, all the annoyances that can be greatly reduced as we tune into that still small voice. We find its connective radiance. I'd like you now to tune in on your index finger on your right hand. And I'd like you now to imagine that you're lifting up that finger and start to lift up that finger, but it's very difficult. It's got a weight on it. Your finger has a weight on it. You lift it up, lift it up, lift it up, and now just let it go. Let it drop. And as it drops, imagine that you're dropping into a big pool of water. And this is called an anchoring or an induction. And this is a technique you can use anytime you want. So once again, lift your finger, index finger on your right hand, lift it up, make it harder. It's difficult. Lift it up more and more and more, and drop it and let it go. And feel yourself again dropping into a pool of deep water. You can use this technique, this induction, in your own meditations, feeling yourself going deeper and deeper into the source. Some of you guys in the comments, oh my goodness, focus on the meditation. One more time, lifting up your finger, lifting it up, feeling it going higher and higher and higher, and then all of a sudden, boom, let it drop. Feel that cool, relaxing water. You are adrift in the waters of spirit. You are living in the glories of that promise kept, the promise that you too shall be one with me, says the Creator. You shall rise. You are not bound by your own limitations. You are not bound by the suffering that defined you in the past. You will become more than you ever thought possible, because this is the way that the universe has designed you. You are designed to be transformed. You are designed to be uplifted. You are designed to be transfigured and brought into a higher definition of yourself. And there is nothing wrong with doing that. It's actually a very wonderful thing. All of these things come to us because we are ready to receive them. We are ready to receive love. We are ready to receive hope. We are ready to receive blessings. We are ready to receive our own transmission of higher consciousness. And we know in the greatest sense that we are the light. We are the love. We are the one infinite creator. And this is as it was, as it is now, and as it always shall be. And nothing and no one can ever take that from us. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Christ, we do pray. We seal these workings in the white light of Christ. We ask that all negativity be expunged and purged. We ask that our own lives be lifted up and transformed. And so it is. Amen. All right. Now I'd like you to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Come on back into the room. Woo! We had a good one. And thanks, David. I had to step out for a while. I missed what you said about your live event. Is it still on? We haven't done the live event yet. That could be something we do in the future. We're working on several different things. The Ultimate Divine Bad Boy Sizzler said, Midnight Mark, thank you very much. Wow, such a deep meditation. That was one of your best, says Gary Hyder Music. Yeah, I wanted to bring you guys in a little deeper there. We did lose some people. We're down to 2,500, but again, over on the European coast, they're more apt to want to hang out earlier, and then it gets too late and they fall asleep. I'm glad that you're here. I'm happy that I was here with you today. We got through the whole thing without peeing, too. I'm 3.5 hours in. I never got up to go to the bathroom. Mary Jane says, tears of joy. Isn't that something? Amen, David. Great meditation, says Deanna Dragovich. Humble Pie says, I'm a new blessing. Thank you, David. I pulled my finger during the meditation. Very nice. I needed that today, said Emily Howard. Incredible show, David, says 56 Moment. Thank you. You have to create meditations, please. You even put my dogs to sleep. Thank you, Mr. Wilcock. I appreciate that. Today was more difficult to fall into meditation, says Bella's Patio Garden, but I'll try again. Thank you so much, David. It was fantastic, but I did have to pee. Have a great week, everyone, says Sitting Kitty. Davy Joe Weaver says, thanks, Big Daddy, David Wilcock. Trent Malik, thank you, David. Ilona S. says, Dankeschön from New Jersey. Germany. I don't know where I got New Jersey. Can we do this every day? Well, it's a lot of work to build up a show. It's a lot of work to have content. I mean, you guys always want new stuff. If I repeat anything, people get mad. So I got to be careful. But we're coming up to the 3:33 mark. That's a great time to do it. So we're going to be ending the show in just a moment here. Start building your dreams today. Thank you, David. You are good at doing meditation. Be well and don't worry. That word does not exist in the Bible. Don't let the devil attack you. Today is my birthday. I'm glad to spend it with you. Try new hairstyles. Yeah, we'll work on that. Maybe I'll give it a little cut in the meantime just to keep it fresh. But anyway, we're at 3:33. Margaret Lukasinka just donated. Thank you very much. $10. You have the most active chat and support for a live streaming show on YouTube, says Kiki. And now we got moderators. I don't have to pay for them, which saves me a lot of money. So that is awesome. Everyone is being very rude to David, requesting longer and more meditations. Anyway, it's fine. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you on the next show. This is David Wilcock signing off for now from our Global Peace Meditation. So again, thank you guys for watching, and we will be back with you very shortly. I appreciate you very much. Thank you.